9 cycles have passed. The 10th will never be. A great machine has cut the gods from the skies. Now the energy of chaos is removed from the world of Lacrin. Magic has ceased to exist. A changed world, a final cycle. There is one final journey to embark upon, a decisive duty filled, a mortal god, a few heroes, a last quest.
Hello everyone and welcome back. I don't know what's happening over there. Are you okay?
Not. I
Pumpkin
don't know what
berry?
you're talking about. We're fine.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What happened?
Everyone's fine.
Go and discuss it with the class. It's
A
fine.
concussion.
What happened with
Yeah,
you?
it's a serious concussion and God knows what else. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what is going on with your
Register the
accursed,
information.
your accursed house. Something's
What?
haunting you. You.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back, everyone. It's Table Stories Dying Order, and we're playing the quest game. Oh God, what now?
I'm just thinking
You
about
okay? Can I start this show? Is that okay? Do you mind? What is going on? Do you wanna do it? What is happening? All right. Well, welcome back. We've been on a little bit of a break here. We actually, myself and the entire cast, have been in Barbados for 2 weeks. It's been wonderful. That's why we all look really tan. Definitely not COVID pale.
Not at all.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I went outside in daylight hours. I creep out at night now. Like I take the dog out at night because he's insane and it's empty around, and so I just never see daylight ever anymore.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, me and Noodle go for midnight walks. Very
that.
romantic.
love it.
Sounds lovely, actually.
It really does.
How have you all been? Anyone got anything
Good.
crazy to report that isn't Pumpkinberry? Because she's picked up an ancient curse from a.
Yeah,
they opened
that's
that
not actually
sarcophagus
PB,
or something. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just be aware of that.
You all right? How you doing, KPP?
I just knew I was like, he's going to say something to me. I'm good.
You're always my person of choice to come to, but also you're the first one on the thing now.
Yeah, I'm good. It's cold here and it was raining a lot yesterday.
Yeah.
What's cold? How cold is cold?
Well, I always get Celsius mixed up. It was like 50 here, which is Fahrenheit, which is not that cold, but it was cold to me.
I gotcha.
Yeah. What is Celsius then of 50? I always feel like I should know this.
Is
It's
that
like a
probably
weird
like
math problem.
17 or
I don't know either of them, if that
10
helps.
degrees
12.
Celsius.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you're right,
basically
Why
PB.
does my brain give me that, but not anything else? I don't understand. It's so frustrating.
How cold are you, PB? You cold there? You
No,
alright?
my brain is melting.
Yeah, I
You
think
doing
it is.
okay? There, little buddy?
I think it
You
is.
gonna make it?
What about you've got to be the most northern on the entire planet, right? Because what's higher, Scotland or Canada?
Scotland.
But we get the current, the warm weather current, right? So because like we're as far north as like St. Petersburg and stuff, but because we get the warm water thing that comes from over there and goes through the ocean to over here, that thing, the Gulf Stream, that's what it's called.
There it
We get
is.
I love
Took
it
a
when he
while.
speaks to me as if I understand anything outside of, a few simple linear things that I learned in my
So
youth.
I don't underestimate your intelligence, Brad, but you do.
I did an IQ test 2 weeks ago and I got a 7.
How many
So-
times have I heard this joke, man?
That's why I keep saying it, because I know that like you're going to start picking up on it, and I'm just going to, for the rest of my life, say I did an IQ test 2 weeks ago and got a 7. No, but I did get a 7 on an IQ test, which apparently is like impressively low. Like it's impressive, but because
It's
it's so low.
impossibly low. You basically didn't take it.
I did. Imagine if I did. I bet it was. I bet it would be somewhere close to a 7. If I did it because it's all math, isn't it? It's all arithmetic.
No, it's pattern recognition and problem solving mostly, right, for IQ stuff.
Yeah.
Not that I've done an IQ test and paid for it or anything, got my actual score because I'm
What was it?
insecure.
Nerd
121 or something. I don't know.
121. That's not even.
That's a lot of 7s, Brad.
That's got to be illegal or something. You can't get 121.
No, it's like 85th and 90th percentile or something.
Yeah.
What's the
No
average
bigs.
for someone in
100.
Scotland? In
Yeah,
Glasgow
100.
specifically, we can make you sound really
Well,
impressive.
for Glasgow
if we
specifically, like 90.
7.
7, actually.
What about you, Tuesday? What's your IQ?
I have no idea. I don't think I've actually ever taken a test that would tell me, and now I'm afraid to, because if it's pattern recognition and things like that, it's just going to make me feel stupid.
See, so it's not like a direct. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean a whole bunch to test.
Yeah, but Tuesday will
Yeah.
tell you.
But my
Fossil fuel.
capacity to take it personally, it's pretty grand. So.
But you can tell us like the eating habits of an East African swallow or something because you know
Mhm.
every fact about
Can
every
it
bird.
carry-
About
a
every
coconut.
animal that ever existed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's
That
it's
is
okay.
true.
You
Right.
might not need to understand pattern recognition, but
Yeah, I mean, I've got the whole wildlife kingdom understood, so I'm good.
directly
And
under your
also-
command.
It is. It's also getting very cold here too, just to keep on theme.
So happy about the cold weather, though.
Thank you for keeping that going.
It's so cold where Disby is that she has swollen up to 3 times her size.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It hasn't
We're
changed.
zoomed in.
Expanding like ice.
It's not zoomed in. You're just growing. Like. So how's that camera working out? You doing all right over there?
Not since the new Windows update. It's been terrible.
Mhm.
Is
And
that
OBS
bad?
Digging in.
Oh
update.
shit!
No.
I forgot to zoom in with you. Sorry.
See,
There I am.
you're zoomed in right now, but neither of you will be in scenes together today. So
Oh,
I'm just
It's not
doing
really
it for
gonna-
solidarity.
It's
I
solidarity.
know, but
Brad.
you won't
and I
know.
appreciate it.
You won't know when you're.
But Disby will
game.
know that she's
Disney
doing
will
it.
know that
Alright.
she's not alone with a massive face on the screen.
Exactly.
That's fine.
I'm sorry. I'm
We're having
having
to
my face
explain
zoomed out.
Friendship.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, no,
Brad.
don't.
We're having to
it's-
explain friendship to the guy who got 7 on his IQ.
Oh,
That's all
sorry.
right. No,
I'm
it's
gonna
fine.
mute myself.
It's fine. There is a massive horde of vampires now rushing towards each of the groups, riding in on Tyrannosaurus Rexes with
Wait,
lasers.
I don't know why it's rushing in on us because they're in the same group.
Because you're all being mean to me. That's why.
I'm
Because
not. I've
you're-
been nice.
All right.
That's fair. Pocket has been nice.
Pocket has been nice, and that's
So
why she'll-
Disby and I get gold and riches and
I'm not
become
being
sane.
mean, I'm following up on a joke. I can't help myself. You made the original joke.
Listen.
Did.
All right. Just stop being mean to me, okay? I got an IQ of 7.
The habit is too ingrained.
Yeah, it's awful. How are you doing, Pocket? You all right?
I am fantastic.
Yeah, you sure?
I'm great.
I
Couldn't
sound
be
confident at all.
I'm pretty sure.
She's like gut
How's that?
shot. She's just been involved in a serious shootout in the, I don't know, what's an American thing? A 7-Eleven.
Quick Trip. That's
Yeah.
better.
A
That's the fancy
Walmart.
one.
A
Hey.
waffle place.
No, not a Waffle House. I got food poisoning there.
I learned about a
Ugh.
Basking Robbins the other day, which apparently
It's
sells.
Baskin.
It's
Robbins.
Baskin.
Not
You
like
can't-
basking, like basking shark.
Baskin.
Carol Baskin.
Baskin,
We
like
were just basking
in the,
in it.
in the sun.
Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin.
Earl Baskets.
Baskin's ice cream.
Carol Baskin.
We're losing TV again.
I don't know what's happening to
I
her.
shouldn't be allowed to talk today, I don't think.
Well,
Oh my god.
the good thing
Baskin
about
Robbins
not
on that bitch
being
girl.
able to talk is that it's all on you lot to do all the talking because
Okay.
you are the wonderful cast. It's been a little while since we did an episode of this here, but I'm not going to do much of a recap because if you're coming in at this late stage, it's going to be really fucking hard to explain the complexities of what's going on. But I will say this: there is a small time jump, but only for one trio. We're in trios now, which is fun. The jungle crew will be slightly ahead in time of the city crew, because I don't know how else to do it. But I also figured that you guys probably don't want to have to role play through packing socks into a bag, and so you will have moved on. However, the other crew will be picking up from where we left off. Essentially, though, you the jungle crew, I don't know what to call you both really at this point, but the crew that are in the jungle are came up with a plan to head out and sneak Kairo onto a ship and head to Bellona to try and find and meet up with the others, while the three that are in the city are Aura just arrived at the city, and you also are kind of waiting around to meet with an Inquisitor about well, it seems like they want to speak to you, and they also have some information that you'd be interested in. You spoke to Inquisitor Sheridan, who said that there's something that he wanted to show you, and also that they seem to be intent on getting your half of this story, because they somewhat seem to understand a lot of the elements about what caused the beginning of this this campaign. The Dying Order don't seem to have the whole story. Of course, how could they? You guys have been whisked off to the varying planes and traveling all around fighting gods and things. So we're gonna catch up with crew in the city first. If you all are ready to begin,
Yes.
I will remind everybody that you Aura came to town. On a carriage with a dwarf, and headed towards the Assassin's Guild. It was at the Assassin's Guild that she realized she couldn't get in. She knew that it was somewhere in this building, but wasn't sure precisely and exactly where it is. And you began to sort of bang on walls, and you worked your way down into a basement area that was kind of, it's outside, but it's set underneath a bar, which is all locked up. The city is in disrepair, a great amount of disrepair, but it seems to be kind of attempting to work itself out of that disrepair. And as you're kind of hitting the walls and wandering around trying to figure out what it was that Ellie did that allowed her to get down into this place, because you never went down there. Ellie, how would you like to approach Aura? Since there's no way Aura could know that you're there unless you want her to.
I would almost like to do a very not friendly thing and walk up behind her and hold a dagger to her throat and say, "What are you doing here?" Kind of like intimidating, but like not really being serious.
I feel like you can get away with that.
Ellie, it's me. It's Aura. You remember me, right?
I would immediately remove the dagger and like push at her back and be like, "I'm just kidding."
Okay, well, stuff's changed. What if you did?
Oh, you don't have to worry about me. You have to worry about one of the other assassins finding you if you were doing that.
Is there like something I should say to them in case we get separated? I don't want to die.
Just say you know me. And if they question it, just say, well, then just take me down and put me in a cell for a while until she comes back.
Oh,
it works.
Okay. Where did you come from? I remember you guys came down here, and is there like a door? I don't understand.
There is, but you need to go this way. We're not gonna go in that door.
And then as she says that, I run over to her and I give her a hug.
Ellie does this sort of awkward, like,
It's good to see you.
Unusual. Oh, it's nice to see you as well. Beau's in there with us.
Beau's here?
Yeah, found him, or he found me almost immediately.
Oh, that's good. Did you have like a whole year of memories that just ended up not being real? And
Yeah, I preferred that one more than this one.
me too.
Yeah.
Have you heard from Suuna?
No, although Beau did some weird thing and said that she might be in trouble or something.
What do you mean weird thing?
Like he could sense her.
Okay, but I mean I don't. Can you do magic?
No, I haven't been able to. I can still use these, and I hold up my dagger.
Yeah, I guess I pat my sword. I can still use this. I can't. And I start snapping my fingers like I used to do to make like a light. I can't.
No, as far as I know, there is none. Well, we got an Inquisitor coming to see us.
And why?
I have no idea.
Well, am I allowed inside?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah,
Okay.
and I start walking back towards the front.
Yeah.
I follow her.
I think the door's probably still open. They wouldn't just immediately lock you out. As
Yeah.
you approach and open the door, you walk inside. There is, Aura, you would recognize the sleeping form of Kalugi Salatio, passed out, wearing little more than like a big, thick coat and trousers, some old boots, probably a hole in one of them with the toe poking out. But he seems to be kind of fast asleep on a bench on the back end of this very rundown looking tavern. There's a young elven, maybe half-elf woman that seems to be behind the bar, and a very stern looking gentleman dressed entirely in black, sitting with probably something like a whiskey next to him, some sort of dark liquor that hasn't been touched. And as you walk in, he glances immediately at you and then turns to Ellie again. Ellie, he gives you the look of, oh, more people? You're just going to let anyone in here like he's already spoken to you about? It doesn't say anything, I don't think.
No, I just wave it away like, it'll be fine.
You had Kalugi?
Yeah, we went and found him. You'll never guess where we found him.
The bar?
Yeah, he was naked.
Why?
Didn't need to see that.
Wait, why was he naked?
Oh, he was willingly naked.
Like just cuz?
Yeah. Just swinging it all about, drunk.
I mean, I
You
wish
know.
I could say I was surprised by that, but
No. I did not need to see that. And we tried to locate Grim, but no one's seen him.
I mean, again, I rub my neck. Just, it's like a Pavlovian dog kind of thing. I mean, do you think that'd be a good idea anyway?
If we want, more swords with us, it might be a good idea. He's still got to have some sort of strength in him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it probably wouldn't be a bad idea. I just,
Listen, he sucker punched you last time. That wouldn't happen again.
yeah, I just like, I don't feel as strong as I used to, so I feel like this time it might fully take my head off if he did.
If he tried, I'll put an arrow in his brain. That's if we find him.
I mean, but I appreciate it, but what if my head is already on the ground? I mean,
Let's not think about that. Keep
I-
moving.
I see her. I can see the stern-looking man, right?
Yeah, I think he's watching you both. And as soon as your conversation here dies down a little, the elven woman moves around the bar and kind of looks you up and down before turning to you, Ellie, and says, "All right, so another one. You want a drink, love? You all right?"
Yeah, I'm a little hungry. I don't know if do you have any wet potatoes?
Wet potato. I mean, yeah, we can get you some.
Yeah, can I have some of those?
All right.
I just
Yeah.
had them for the first time. They're really good.
All right, yeah, I'll get you some. You want me to serve it up here, or are you going back?
I look at Ellie.
Oh, we'll go. Brad, I have a question. Weren't we going somewhere?
Currently, the Inquisitor is downstairs with Beau in Zach's office.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Then I would start moving back downstairs.
I guess I'm gonna go with her, so I'll be with her. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll bring him down, love. It's all right.
Thank you. Have you, Ellie? You can eat now, right?
Yeah. Sadly, I kind of like not eating.
Have you tried wet potatoes?
No, they sound really gross though.
No. They do, but they're actually really good. So yeah, you should try some of mine.
You feeling all right?
Yeah, I just came down from BAME with this guy, and he taught me how to make them.
Oh, it seems very random.
He was a bit random.
I don't question it. I just keep walking.
You guys head downstairs. Aura, this is your first time here. It's probably a little odd. You're led by Ellie to a trapdoor which opens up to a very long, straight stairway that leads you down what would feel probably to us like a single story, but it's still quite a lot. And deep underground to sort of sewer level. However, when she opens a very large looking door and maybe you're expecting something like a sewer, you're greeted in fact with a kind of red and black, dimly lit but not too shabby looking hallway that opens up to several different rooms. And as she walks down these hallways, many of the doors are closed or locked. You can see that some have storerooms and things. Some seem to be meeting areas. You notice that there are bunks in some of these rooms. And there is a sense of old money. It would look like something to us out of maybe The Sopranos or something. That kind of a look. This kind of understated old money, but dim, dingy, underground, muted sound basement area of just this winding, great big, long hallway that connects off to all these different rooms of all different sizes. Eventually she walks to the end of a corridor to a very large door which is partially open, and inside you can probably hear Beau talking about, I think the plan was to keep talking about that time you met with mermaids, I think.
Rusty mermaids, that is correct, yes.
He's still on the story. And as you're getting closer, you can hear the voice of Beau, but you don't see who he's speaking to before Ellie opens the door. Beau, you see Ellie and Aura walk in. Aura and Ellie, you walk in. You see that the Inquisitor is standing with his notepad, taking notes fervently, while Beau is clearly just spinning him a tale. There is a young-looking human man in Inquisition robes, dark kind of robes, underneath quite fine-looking clothing, nothing too fancy or anything, but clean-looking. His hair swooped to one side, short, clean-shaven. This young man. And as you walk in, I think he immediately stops writing and looks over towards you, Aura, looks down, turns a page or two, and then... Aura, I presume.
What?
Beau! And I'm gonna run over to Beau.
I immediately turn around and my mouth agape. I'm just so happy to see Aura. I run to her and I hug her.
Beau, are you okay?
I'm fine. It's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're okay, Aura.
I am glad you guys are okay. I wish Suuna was here. I don't know. Everything feels weird.
It does, especially without magic. But
I look over at the guy because I saw at the corner of my eye, saw him writing stuff down.
As soon as you walk in.
Why? Who are you?
Of course, yes. My name is Inquisitor, and he awkwardly kind of puts his book down and moves over towards you. He looks you up and down a little bit as well, kind of obviously. Like he leans down, looks at what you're wearing, takes in everything, and then thrusts a hand out and says, Inquisitor Sheridan.
I put my hand out to meet his. Hello, I'm Aura. How did you know who I was?
I'm an Inquisitor.
I know, but I don't even live around here.
That doesn't matter. Right, so that's actually rather good timing. We are going to be heading to the Inquisition headquarters, or one of them, and, well, it's up to you if you would like to join us, but there is something that we'd very much like to discuss with you.
Me specifically?
Oh, yes, and your comrades here. Perhaps even the, what's his name?
Lugi, Kalugi.
Kalugi, yes.
Yes, he's
Rather odd
coming with
name.
us too. Yes.
And I'm presuming that's a pseudonym and not his real name.
No, that's his actual name.
Very well. Yes, okay. And your other comrades are not here.
At this time, no.
Do you have any idea where they might be?
Well, one can only guess.
Why are we talking to him?
Because magic is gone, and we know something about it.
I feel like as Oro has heard of the Inquisition and not always heard good things.
Yeah, it's like being visited by like the CIA or the FBI or something. It's not necessarily like they're villainous, but you know, when you hear kind of weird conspiracy theories about the CIA and you're like, well, that sounds like something the CIA would do. I feel like it would maybe evoke that kind of a feeling. You know that the Arcanine Inquisition, which I can say, are particularly... They've been known as to be a little more ruthless and a little more brutal and direct, but it would also be a lot more... the odds that you've encountered anything Arcanine related or the Arcanine Inquisition, it would all really feel like hearsay and stuff. But they have just an extreme level of authority that goes above government level that they seem to be able to draw from. So they have a kind of an immediate presence to them, I think. Inquisition in general are not always favoured. They do quite often seem to be the type of group that would come in and snatch somebody off the street in the middle of the night and you never hear from them again, and they don't answer to anyone or need to tell you why, as opposed to somebody who might work for the mayor of your town or the watch or something like that. So yeah, they're not necessarily, like, you're not immediately confronted, I think, with what would feel like an evil or villainous presence, but they, for the most part, and I think most certainly people from BAME would never trust somebody at this level of authority, you know. But also they do wield an enormous amount of authority, so it would feel to you like a CIA agent is in your house asking to speak to you.
Why would you know who I am but not know where they are?
Well, we know who they are. We weren't too sure where you were. We were planning on dispatching an agent, but we're a little short-staffed at the moment. Have you travelled here from your place of birth, which, as I'm to understand, is not AIM, but that is where you currently reside?
Yeah, I came from BAME. What do you mean? Where was... You know where I was born?
Well, we presume.
Oh, so you don't know for sure.
I'm not sure why we would need to. Should we need to
When he says
know?
that, there was like there's a moment of disappointment that flashes over my face. I don't used to, like, you guys, I've heard, know a lot of stuff. I just assumed you would know everything.
Well, we have lost a great deal of resources recently.
He means magic. They lost their powers. They're still trained in combat. Don't mistake that. I mean, I wouldn't pick a fight with them, but yeah.
Did you guys not write stuff down?
Well, yes, but it's quite a lot to read through and to gather. I'm actually quite impressed with what I have managed to do in the last 24 hours. And I'm rather lucky to have found you all here. And we're missing, and how many people went with you? Just the one? This Suuna?
Yes. I
Right.
Yeah, but she's not
reluctantly-
here.
There is a
Fine.
gnome companion at one of yours?
How do you know about?
No, there's no gnome companion.
Very well. But you had contact with one Elden Grimm.
Yeah. Apparently he's
and-
missing. You don't know where he is either, right?
And he did not travel with you to the other planes of existence.
No.
These fights with gods that you
No.
claim to have vanquished.
No.
Very well. That's good to know. Well, we do know where Elden Grimm is. Truthfully, just needed to check that you were being honest with me.
Where is he?
He's in the fortress. He is being held after an attempt on the Queen's life.
And why would he do that?
Well, we were rather hoping that maybe you would help us to work that one out. But we're not too sure yet.
Well, I need him back so I can speak to him.
Well, unfortunately for him, he is dealing with Bob. Maybe we'll have answers later on.
No, I need him back. We need him.
Well, maybe that can be arranged. Perhaps we can arrange a meet for you.
I look at Aura. What's that? What's the person we're looking for still? The asshole that did all this. What's his name?
Can we trust this guy? I mean,
Yeah,
no
I
offense.
I mean, we might as well.
Been on the same boat this entire time. I've been trying to keep him distracted with telling him about busty mermaids. And let me tell you, he was very interested in it for a good while until you showed up, Aura. Now he's back on track. Now there's no more talk about big-breasted mermaids.
Maybe that conversation would interest you more.
I think he's finished.
Well, that's too much information.
Would you like to accompany me to the Inquisition headquarters?
I mean, I just got here and I feel like this is just like an awful lot right away. Like, you just. How do I know you want to help us? How do I know you're not.
Well, the Inquisition only wants what's best for everyone. That's why we were created.
Okay,
You were
then what do you.
created. You were trained.
Oh yes, well we were trained, but many, many years ago we were created to keep order, to investigate, strange goings on, murders, things like that. And then of course the Arcani came about and almost killed every single living thing on the planet with the destruction of Elmesia, and so then the Arcani Inquisition was created to ensure that it doesn't happen again, and here we are on the very brink of that potential.
Oh, so it didn't
outcome.
work.
So you guys failed.
Well, I'm hoping not, since we are currently speaking.
Do you think we can somehow change the outcome that's already happened?
Well, I'm not
Do
too
you-
sure. Is
Do
it
you have a
over?
time machine?
Is there more to come? Is this the end?
You
I
just
mean-
get like a feeling sometimes that stuff's not right. Like a vibe.
Oh, all the time. Ever since I met you guys, it's been that way.
Should I tell him the name? Or is that.
Maybe, I mean, if he has that much information, if he knows all of us already, I mean, I don't think maybe he knows that person too.
Do you know where Dave Vecchi is?
No.
Can you find him?
Well, if he can be found. I like to think I'm rather good at my job.
I'll go to your place if you help us find him.
Very well, yes. I think perhaps we have half the story and you have the other. An exchange of information.
And Grim.
Well,
Oh, and we're taking Kalugi, the drunk. He's harmless. Don't worry about him.
yes, I have a few questions about him as well, but we don't need him. You are not under any sort of arrest. You would be
Did
guessed.
think that we were?
Well, you needn't fear coming with me. Again,
I
as I
give
said, we're
Ellie and
Right.
Beau a look when he says that.
quite understaffed, and you are self-confessed god killers, so
Oh, just one. We fought others.
very well. Would you like
We're
to come
taking-
now or later?
I look at the other two.
Can I get my wet potatoes to go?
I'm sure that can be arranged.
Okay.
How long does it take to make wet potatoes?
You just don't. It's not that hard. It's really fast, actually.
Okay, I'm sure. Yeah, well, just give us. We'll be like a little behind you.
Okay. Well, do you know where you're going?
No.
All right, very well. I'll wait here until you're ready to
Well, what
leave.
if Zach takes us?
Oh, I'm not sure that would be a very good idea.
Why is that?
Well, he isn't joining us.
Zach.
Why is that?
He has business of his own to attend. You'll have to inquire with him.
You know, I'm not liking this whole shady business y'all are putting up right now.
Unfortunately, that is our business and yours, usually.
Jay.
Oh, okay. I think I'm picking up what you're putting down now. Okay. Walk out.
He's just leaning against the desk. When you're ready.
You need a drink? This might take a while. I don't know. How long does it take to make potatoes wet?
It's just like you slightly cook them and then you just put like salt on them and they're good. It like takes like, I mean, honestly, 10 minutes. I'm surprised I don't have them yet.
Do all three of you leave the office?
I follow Ellie out.
Yeah, I would get out. I'm done talking about busty mermaids.
As
we're walking out, I think I'd find a assassin and be like, there's a strange man in Zach's office. Just watch the door.
Yeah, there's a indistinct looking, frightening figure in a cloak that nods at you and walks on down the hallway.
Does like a one of those grunts and then just keeps walking.
Yeah. There's a voice from the other end of the hallway that's shouting, quietly yelling, "Ellie, you here? Where are you, love?"
Over here. You gotta yell?
The young elven woman wanders around the corner with a bowl in hand, and she thrusts it out towards you, Aura, and inside is just some uncooked potatoes, skin still on, in water, cold.
Oh, thank you.
Anything else?
No,
I like nudge Beau and I'm like, should hit on her. I heard she's single.
What? I don't think now's the time for any
Why
of
not?
that.
Now's the time. What if we just end up? Now's your chance.
Well, because
And I push Beau towards her,
oh,
and then I walk up to Aura and I take a potato and take a bite out of it.
Not right. They're not right.
Oh, and I just spit it.
I'll make them. She didn't understand.
These are terrible.
I
know, This is not how
apologize
you
to
make
her.
wet potatoes.
What? Is it not right? Wait, what's...
It's great. It's fine. I mean, honestly, I
She's
have
lying. It's not. This tastes terrible.
Well, yeah, of course it does. She asked for just wet potatoes. What? Is that not
All right,
what...
well, so I guess I thought it was a more common thing.
What do you do? How do you make? You just
what,
cook them.
what is it? What is that? Is that like a home recipe or something?
Well, it sounded like it was like a thing people have eaten for decades that I didn't know about because of where I come from, but they're just like potatoes that are just slightly boiled and you just put some salt on them.
That's it.
Yeah, like wet potatoes.
All right. Okay. She shoots you a strange look and takes the bowl slowly from you. I'll go and...
No, it's fine. Don't
No,
worry.
it's all right. I'll
Don't-
heat him up. It's all right. Why don't you
thank
go and
you.
sit in there and I'll bring him
That's
in.
very kind of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, why don't you help her? Make sure she gets them all done right.
I'm sure she can
You
handle
just
herself in
spent
the
30
kitchen.
minutes talking about mermaids.
Yeah,
Did you say that?
can I just be with you guys, or I just got here?
Sure.
Why would Beau need to go do that?
Oh, I'm just trying to,
She's just trying to help a brother out. I get it,
Yeah, what he said.
Oh. I mean,
especially in these times.
just
but-
don't do it around the potatoes.
No! Oh God! No! Goodness! No!
I mean, I don't. That's not.
It would
really
give a new
unsanitary.
definition to wet potatoes.
Oh,
Oh Jesus!
can we cancel my order? I don't know that I want it anymore.
And I just go sit down and I'm like chuckling to myself.
That's too much even for me.
I turn around to Beau and I'm like, my sense of humor's back. What little I had before.
Okay. Do we trust that guy?
I don't. That's why I just kept going about the story. Well, I didn't even bring it up myself initially. It was Ellie, and so I just kept going with it. I tried to avoid telling him the truth as much as possible. I don't trust these Inquisitors. This guy only showed up because Zach, Ellie's, father.
That's your dad?
It's not actually, no.
Well, not really.
He helped raise me. We're not related. He doesn't like when I call him dad. That's why I call him dad.
Oh. Well, why did your, and I do air quotes, dad bring an Inquisitor?
Oh, because I
Talk to
told
us.
him there's no magic.
Is it weird that assassins work with Inquisitors? That seems kind of...
No. Assassins work with a lot of people.
Okay.
And I can't say it's really weird.
Well, if
It's
you
weird
wanna
that
go-
I never knew about it, maybe, but there's a lot of things I don't know.
Well, I'll do whatever you guys want. I just got here, so I don't know.
Well, I can't say we should necessarily trust him, but I am curious to know what they have to say about all this.
Yeah,
You have to admit you're at least curious. If they have the other half of the story, it'd be nice to be filled in on what happened besides what we went through.
I agree on that.
Yeah.
We should definitely go to their headquarters since we're being invited to it.
Yeah, I
But-
mean, he's pretty small. We could kill him if we needed to.
Oh, we could easily take him on.
Well, we shouldn't openly be talking about killing an
Well,
Inquisitor
no,
right here,
yeah,
right now.
no.
So,
Well, I'm just saying, I like to plan ahead now.
yeah. Well, if we
wanna
need to
kill
take him,
him.
we will, but I think we'll be all right.
Do you think he'll let me read his book? He's making a lot of notes.
That I don't think he'd let you see.
It would be nice if he did.
Would be, but
What if we look at
Oh,
his
right.
notebook before we go? And then if that looks all okay, there's not something like, the prisoners will come with me, then we will know beforehand.
I didn't catch any of that.
Well, if we look at his notebook, he's making notes about us that are saying the prisoners will come with me. We'll know that he's got...
He said he has an object to show us, and he said it's too heavy to carry. Because I asked some questions, and I'm kind of wondering
Oh,
what this
I've never
object
met-
is.
I've never met an Inquisitor before. They're pretty, I thought they'd be more intimidating.
Like us. And I
Yeah.
point out the garb. Well, see, we murder for a living. They hire murderers to murder for a living.
He, seems like he sits at a desk a lot.
He acts like it too. He's pretty boring.
So he was really into that story you were telling
tell
Oh, very
Beau?
much. Like, too much, maybe even.
I think it's probably in
much.
Beau's
He was
head.
Really excited in his seat.
I think it's in Beau's head. He's been mentioning the busty mermaids to everyone that walks by.
I haven't heard this story, so you're gonna. I feel like I need to be filled in at some point about this.
Yeah, long story short, we were explaining what happened to Zach, and then Beau went on a tangent about busty mermaids that I don't remember either, but we'll go with
You're
it.
the one who gave me the idea to do that, okay?
Listen,
I've heard that not all mermaids are busty though.
Could be
Beau,
true.
are there any non-busty mermaids? It's your story.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. There's probably all shapes and sizes.
Are there any guys?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of mermen.
Well, then how do they, you know?
Okay, let's not go there, all right?
I always heard that there's not really mermaids. They're just like sea creatures that.
As they're talking, I'm gonna just start walking back down the hall.
And speaking of walking, we're going to switch to the walking crew here as we head over to the Yoskorin Mountains, all the way across the world. The 3 people who are in the Yoskorin Mountains. Can you roll me d20s? Roll for me, please. As we return to you guys
That's not terrifying or anything.
in
Wasn't
the
scary about that.
19.
in the
One.
Hopefully that's
mountainous
good.
range.
Oh dear.
Literally one. So
The
that's fine.
mountainous range of Yoskorin. So, you guys packed a few bags.
Yep.
Maybe took a quick glance around town and headed out. Plan, as mostly come up with by Ippo, is to head towards the east. In the from CT on the western edge of the island, through the mountains across to the other coast. It's only about a 2-day travel, so long as you stick to the paths, to the fishing village of Tisin, which is probably the closest place you're likely to be able to charter or gain passage on a ship that will be leaving the island and heading to Alexandria, and therefore Bellona. Just as you were leaving, you were given a message, Suuna. A message arrived via Dove.
Yes.
Which just said the words, and only the words, "Find us with the assassins." And then you headed out and began
That's right.
moving not in the direction of Mount Venlem, which is the mountainside that you came down from, not north through the more thicker jungle, but up into the kind of jungle mountainscape. And it's more like low mountains and foothills as opposed to the peaks and sheer cliff faces, all of it covered in greenery, but the south side of the island is just huge mountain ranges covered in greenery, whereas where you are at the moment is kind of just an awkward path through these low foothills and mountains that are covered in thick jungle and somewhat swampy landscape. I'd say you've probably been walking for maybe about half a day. And you're away from CT now. You're away from any real civilization, and you've started to move through this very difficult to spot path. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that Toby knows the path, or at least understands how to follow it, because it's not an actual like brick road that you're following. It's a set of signs and location markers that are carved into the mountainside that you follow. As long as you keep a kind of easterly path, you can follow these signs and move through the mountains. Once you make it through the actual mountainside, you come out on a plateau, where you can literally see T-Sin, and you just have to work your way down the mountain and across a short plain. So it's actually just navigating through the mountain for the first day and a half or so that becomes the more difficult part. So with mostly Toby leading the way.
Yeah, but I would just like to say I pretend to lead the way and or know the way.
I don't know if you might have done this travel before. Again, it's only 2 days. This is a small island.
But even if I have done the travel, I think I mostly used to rely on my magic to really tell me where I was supposed to be going, and that kind of instinct is gone now, but there's no way I would let him lead proudly through here. I would pretend to also know the way.
Yeah.
I have the navigate ability, so I can't get lost.
You can't get lost.
Good for you.
Yeah. So so you're doing a fine job. That 7 was not a failure on a roll to get lost or anything like that. You're just you're perfectly capable of making it to T-Sin. And you're following this path. It's not easy going necessarily. It's a lot drier than the area around CT, which is very kind of almost swampish, that kind of jungle, swampy, damp, humid environment. It remains humid here, but where you're lifted up, it's just a little more difficult in terms of there being portions of this where some very light climbing is involved and squeezing across little thin ledges and stuff like that as you guys are maneuvering through. But mostly it's just a trudge through what is essentially a sort of lowland jungle. Kairo, this is probably very strange for you. I don't think you would ever have been to a jungle environment, even though you're quite at home in a forest environment. There would be elements of it that would feel very familiar and elements that feel very strange. The role there was to determine, in fact, not whether you can sense something, but whether something can sense you. And as you've been moving through this environment throughout the last maybe about an hour or so, do any of you have anything you can do that might help you work out if something is hunting you?
Oh God. Okay. That's not worrying at all. Let's see.
Because you've got a whole new set of abilities now that we're outside of D&D, and I've forgotten all of them.
Right. So I'll use Keepy's ability to. Let me be specific about it. He can tell how many creatures are in a space, but not what kind. And he can give a rudimentary mental map of spaces. So basically, I'm going to try and use that to be scouting around us.
Yeah.
And he'll come back with his beak clacking if he needs to.
All right. Anyone else got anything they want to put forward?
If I find tracks, I can identify the type of creature. So
probably finding all sorts of tracks, and I think actually after the kind of what we'll refer to as an earthquake, but probably was not necessarily a natural occurring earthquake. The landscape here is a little crazy, like as if everything that lives here was disturbed in some way, and you know, everything that lives here at one point over the last couple days fled in terror and fear before having to return to its usual ground. So you're actually probably seeing a lot of tracks and things like that. It can, and anything from sort of predatory animals to just smaller creatures. There are lots of like monkeys. There are friendly reptilian creatures. There are sentient creatures that live in these mountains, creatures that are similar to the Yuan-Ti, which are kind of half snake people, but have actually been relatively friendly. And there are rumors, which you now believe to not be rumors, of Sverfneblin living all up in these mountains. And then there's all sorts of horrible, creepy crawlies. There are spiders. There are snakes and things like that. I think on this travel, you're seeing everything. From tigers to snakes to monkeys to strange, large, flightless bird tracks and things like that. But whether any of it is necessarily stalking the area for prey, it's really hard to work out right now.
Okay.
Question for you. We're forward in time, you said, a little bit?
Yes.
Well, then I have something that just might be fun for the city team if they want to use it, because if we're forward in time, that means this hasn't happened for them yet. But our bond means that they would sense when your other bondmate is in danger.
Mm-hmm.
So that just might be fun for you.
Well, they already sense that you're in danger.
Oh, well, then never mind.
You've
Nothing
felt
changes.
to them as if, and again, it's not magical. It's just a sickening feeling in their stomach
Yes.
every now and then.
The twin link.
Yeah,
like,
it's-
that you've been in a car accident and you go for the phone before
there is just an element to it. This is not like a guaranteed magical, like Professor X, on Cerebro locating things situation.
Mm-hmm.
They just have a feeling that you have been in danger this whole time. And you don't have it about them.
Oh, but I did. But it's gone now?
I'd say so.
Oh, all right. Interesting.
So they still feel like you're constantly in a state of danger, which you'll be pleased to know.
Have fun role playing that.
Do you have any? Yeah, I was going to avoid it, but here we are.
Sorry.
No. I've worked it all out. I've had 2 weeks. Do you have anything that you're doing in the moment here to
Yammering, probably.
talking?
Just talking.
Yeah. So the main, while Ippo is kind of able to identify the fact that there are lots of creatures, and probably every now and then you see him swat away a gigantic beetle that's about to spit some sort of strange acid at you. The real scout here is the owl above you. Now I have to think about something here because I don't know. In fact, Tuesday Gray, ornithologist, can owls, do they have any hope at all of sensing something that's underground?
Is it making noise?
I wouldn't think so.
If it is not making noise, then no.
Right.
Or any physical,
Or any visual.
Yeah, it has to be
Yeah.
You have to be able to
vibration or-
see it or hear it.
Yeah, because they can see a wee mouse, so if they saw a wee bit
Yes,
of ground
they could
moving.
see ground moving, but that's about it.
And do you have to use any AP?
I
Use this
used
ability?
1 AP for what is this called? Monitor. Sorry, it's a good thing you brought that up. It's 2 AP. Monitor bird.
Yep. Right. I'm just checking because I like to know the level of strength of the ability because I don't know. And
Yeah, it's a cost 2 called monitor bird.
all right. Well, you can consume that.
Done.
And yeah, Kipi is not reporting anything.
Okay.
But
And for that cost of 2, is he going to monitor for a length of time that we're walking, or is this just a out and back and they'll do it again later?
I think most of these AP costs, when they don't give you a specific like instant or whatever, are per scene.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll
Nice.
count this as a scene. And yeah, we'll leave it as a constant thing for now. So if
Yeah,
anything
per
does
scene works.
suddenly happen.
Sure.
Yeah, you guys walking along do not get the sense of anything strange other than every now and then there's like just a kind of a low rumbling sound as you're moving through these mountains, but it's not necessarily something that immediately stands out to you as strange or untoward, especially considering the fact that for the last couple days it's just there have been constant tremors and rumbles that have been coming from deep within the southern mountain area. You also, I think probably both Ippo and Suuna would know that there are forest elephants and things, and every now and then there will be a herd of elephants that will just run past CT.
That's lovely.
And it will, it's like a rumbling sensation. You don't get the sensation that there is something underground tracking and smelling the specific scent of Suuna for maybe the last little while. How do you guys think that you are progressing through this thing? It's not easy walking.
Oh, I'm not having a good time at all.
Yeah.
This is my first time breathing air, and I don't have my mother's magical strength either, which was a thing that I used to. I mean, I've always been a little bit on the weaker side, but I could muster up her strength if I needed to, and now I don't have any of that. So I imagine I'm not having a great time at all, and I'm sweating, and I'm in the jungle, and I'm trying to not look as weak as I feel or am, and so I'm not having a good time at all. Thank you for asking.
The mortal takes the path. Yeah, this is not a trade path. So this isn't the type of thing that people would be using a lot, so it's constantly overgrown. It's not large enough to take a cart. Most people travel by train, but none of the trains are working anymore. And if you were to travel by path, this really is just a route that's used every so often by people to get from CT to Tisin every now and then. For the most part, people would travel north and then back down, or just take one of the trains that they crisscross all over the place. It's got the most extensive train network in the world for such a small island. So Suuna probably looks not great. You think you're actively trying to conceal that you're struggling somewhat?
Oh, of course I am. Absolutely.
All right.
There's no way. I don't want anyone to know how badly I'm struggling, and I'm prattling on some story. Sure. Is that the 1d20 thing again?
Everything's a d20.
Right.
Unless otherwise. An 8. The other two can roll to determine how they feel about Suuna. Although Kairo, you do you think you're struggling as well? You're still not probably recovered necessarily.
Yeah, I'm not fully healed, but I am in general young and spry, so I'm probably not super struggling. This is, however, pretty weird environment for Keepy. Certainly not a jungle bird, and not used to the choking vegetation, and not good sight lines, and it's probably kind of drippy and humid. So I wouldn't say we're peak, but I wouldn't say we're quite as bad off as Suuna.
And I'm going to guess Toby's doing okay.
Yeah. I mean, I spend a lot of my days out and about just walking around and harvesting things and hunting things or whatever. So, yeah, I'm used to this. I'm old, but I've done this every day for a few decades now. So
I don't think this is too far out of the realm of possibility. You've done this plenty of times, this travel. There are only a couple of points here that are a little bit of a struggle. There's some high precipices that are a little bit of an awkward step that have a makeshift rope that's tied around the mountain that you can hold on to, but for the most part it's just awkward walking, not difficult but not easy either. And as you guys are moving across some of these foothills, I think Toby, you're aware that Suuna is struggling, whether you've said something or not. Whereas Kairo, you're not, while also not necessarily struggling so poorly. And as you guys are walking along, there's another low rumble that it's a very low rumble that seems like it's coming from far off. It trembles the ground underfoot for a moment before passing again. What are you guys doing and discussing as you?
I think I would say, so is that like normal for here, the rumble thing and theories on that?
Oh, well, yeah, we have elephants that come by, and I don't suppose it's trains anymore. We don't have them, but yes, I'd say so.
Yeah, maybe not quite this often, but it could also, there was the big rumble, and this might just be littler rumbles after that.
Yes, the
other day.
mountain. Yep. Call that
okay. I mean-
after quake.
If you're not worried about it, I won't be.
Yeah. You just mind your footing in this wee bit here, and just take your time and look where you're putting your foot. That's the best way so you don't slip.
That's Toby for you, always telling you common sense. Thank you. We've got it.
Okay, just, if I didn't see it and then you slipped, you'd blame me for not seeing it, so, guess damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I would do no such thing. I wouldn't blame you for my own idiocy.
You've done it before, I'm sure. Anyway,
Take your time crossing.
you take your time and look where you're putting your foot, yeah.
Yeah, ahead of you there's a small bridge. It's a rope bridge. It looks pretty sturdy. It goes over a sort of crevasse. It's not too deep, but down in the crevasse is water, not running water, still water that leads to. It's just it's almost like a thin, long lake would be a good way to describe it. But it's about 20 feet down. There is a very small, maybe 15 foot across rope bridge ahead of you. And as you approach it, it looks perfectly sturdy, seems perfectly okay. That's what Toby kind of gestures towards. Who crosses first?
Be careful, the mosquitoes here. Probably a nightmare.
Yeah. We'll be fine. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Just take your time.
Right.
No rush.
I'm gonna go ahead and step a foot gingerly on just to make sure this thing isn't like totally falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, you can test it first if you want to roll.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind testing it.
Yep, give me a roll.
15.
15. This thing's perfectly sturdy. Probably not a good idea that all three of you bundle onto it.
Sure.
But it absolutely can take your weight.
Oh, so
I would.
one at a time?
Yeah, I'd say one at a time after I test it with my foot.
I'm
One at a time, probably.
secretly very grateful because I can just stand here and take a break while you slowly cross.
Oh.
It's just good practice with these old bridges and stuff out here. Just, they get taken care of, but they're out in the wild,
And I'm making my way across.
Take your time.
Yeah, you
I
make
probably
your way
am.
across.
I
Yeah,
probably am taking my time.
it's a steady walk across. You're walking along this thing. It sways a little in the middle, but it's really not too bad. Again, it's not an enormously long thing. It's just, like a short bridge from one side to the other. In the center, you feel it kind of creaks a little. The ropes start to look a little older than you thought they were at first, but it's perfectly fine. It seems to be completely stable. It's probably just anxiety as you step over to the other side safely. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll summon Keepy to me, and he lands on my shoulder waiting for the other two.
After you, Suuna.
Oh, well. No, you can go first.
Well, I would rather you go.
All right.
Thank
And
you.
I'll slowly make my way across.
Yeah. You testing it or anything? You just walking on.
Oh, you know what? If I were alone, I would be testing it, but because this oaf's behind me, I'm just gonna walk across like
Take your time.
I am taking my time.
Are
Thank
you taking your time?
A little bit, yes.
Gingerly stepping across the rope bridge here. Again, once it gets to the middle, it sways a little bit. Roll me a d20.
Oh, boy.
That's so much worse than you can imagine. Underneath
Right.
the bridge, and unbeknownst to you as you step across on your roll of 2, there is a ripple in the water from directly
No.
underneath where you are. It moves
No.
across this still
You
surface,
see, I'm fine. I can do this just great. It's great.
and then
No.
there's a sudden burst of water from underneath you. You look down, and there is an enormous set of jaws that is opening up. What looks to you, Suuna, at first, maybe the other two can't see this, is the opening jaws of what is probably an enormous serpent. It opens its mouth, it's launching up towards you, and I'm going to snapshot there to get reactions from everybody. It's going to be any moment now. It will eat the entire bridge and easily eat Suuna.
No.
Okay, I shoot it with my rifle.
Okay. So I just want everyone's reactions, and then we're going to roll and see how it works out.
There's a reason I sent her across first.
Did you want to have a reaction first?
Everyone tell me what you're doing in this moment.
Okay.
There is water launching up. There is a coiled snake which is uncoiling and moving up towards you. Its mouth opens up. A huge, gaping maw of a mouth. 2 enormous fangs that bigger than you. And just this thing is... You are its prey. You're here. It's moving up to eat you. What do you all do? I just want to know all of your reactions. Hippo immediately reaches for his rifle.
Okay, yeah. I reach for my bow and dip it in a pot of blue. Dip my arrow in a pot of blue-looking oily powder. And I knock it.
All right. And then Suuna.
I would like to use Defy Death. I don't think it counts in this
If that's gonna work.
I had this ability for the entire campaign, and I never got to use it in D&D. So I'm gonna try to see if you will let me use it now.
Yeah, no.
God
you
damn
need,
it!
You need
All right.
to.
Well, then in that case, I would like to try to. I think instinct might take over here. And if these jaws are coming up to eat the entire bridge, is it possible for me to jump on the edge, like on the tooth, so that I don't go in the mouth, into its mouth, and I just ride this thing up?
I'll say
like
this
the
much:
table?
it won't be easy.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll try to do that then. That's the only chance I've got.
All right. Well, find out after the break how this works out for the crew here. We're going to be going to a short break, and then we'll return and find out how you guys deal with the Midgar Zolom. Sorry, did I say Zolom? It's the CT Molos. And thanks so much for watching. We are back. On the break, there may or may not be a trailer for something exciting that's happening.
Yes.
New stuff happening on Table Stories. So stick around for the new trailer on the break. Thanks again for joining us. We'll be back in a few minutes. See you
Goodbye.
then.
Maybe forever.
Yep.
My brave child, it is time to fulfill your destiny. Hear me and heed my words. The night is eternal. It is our time. It is your time. Go forth and carve out the first of our kingdoms on the surface.
Yes, no longer will we languish in the Underdark. I will forge something great and terrible from the gifts bestowed this land. It will serve you, as do I.
Go in my name.
Returning to the Yoskorin Mountains, the three of you have encountered a colossal serpent that lives underground and presumably was disturbed by the events.
Sweet, precious scent of Suuna.
Well,
that's
that's
what
what
it's
it's
right?
found, but it, is probably not happy being underground with constant tremors happening, and so it's awake and wandering around, and then
And angry.
it
Probably
locked
a little
on
angry.
to the particular scent, of Suuna. Everyone roll me the 20s. Roll for me. We're going to see how your
11.
plans work out here. 11, 3 and 1. That is so bad, it's crazy. Okay, so the 11 from Kairo is a success. You accomplish what you were trying to do without any compromises. If you're dealing damage, you deal the standard amount, which you'll be pleased to know you do deal some damage.
Good, because let me just tell you what this looked like. I pulled my bow out. I pulled out an arrow, and I have 5 or 6 little leather pouches, about the size of a thumb, on my belt. And you see me dip the tip of my arrow into one, and you see a little bluish, oily, kind of like a pastel, a drawing pastel consistency out, and it's now knocked and ready to go. And if I'm firing right now, I am aiming for one of its awful eyes.
Aiming for one of its eyes. You fire off the arrow. This huge thing is launching upwards, so you have a pretty decent and very quick response as you pull out a poisoned arrow of some kind, some form of poison on it.
Yep.
Fire this thing downwards. You see it. It strikes the snake in the eye. It doesn't hit the eyeball. It goes in and lodges underneath between where the eye and the scaly skin meet. You see that it hits. You see that it surely administers its poisonous effect, but it's going to take a lot more than one arrow with slowing or sleeping or any sort of poison on it. Take this thing down. You're going to have to hit it a couple times, and you deal your standard amount of attack, which I think for everyone is 2 with a weapon.
Yeah.
I'm just ensuring that we all know where we are, because this is really our first combat with the system. Common weapons, which is all weapons: bows, swords, spears. There's no magical weapons. If you choose a ranged weapon, you use one of your item slots for ammunition, which you've done, and you deal 2 damage to this thing. I will say this. It it's huge. 2 damage to this is not a lot. Necessarily. It does not even seem to react to the arrow in the eye.
Oh, good God. Okay.
Suuna, you hear... In fact,
dear.
Toby, you have a catastrophe.
Can I spend EP for that to not be a catastrophe, or...
I do like our homebrew idea that you can add AP to this
I feel
thing.
like to get him a catastrophe it probably costs more, right? There should be like a standard.
But since I haven't balanced it yet, I'm going to say no, you can't spend AP.
Okay.
As much as I do like the idea of being able to spend your AP to add to dice rolls in this system, I don't want to break it too hard yet because we've not even done 1 combat before I start messing with it, and I've
Right.
messed with it already quite a lot.
Well, I tried soon.
You
Sorry.
did try.
So a catastrophe on a 1. Oh no, it says. You automatically fail and you may suffer a severe setback. I would say your gun jams.
Oh.
I think that's what happens here. And
Oh.
it's going to take you a whole other turn here to unjam it. So it's up to you how you want to deal with that, but you wouldn't on your next turn. You're going to have to unjam the gun, which leaves Suuna kind of on her own. Now you're attempting to jump on its tooth as it closes so that it can't...
Essentially, as it's closing its mouth, I want to land on the top of it instead of in its mouth.
Now you want to land on it like this, or you want to like surf this thing up as
I
it's...
want to surf this thing up, and hopefully, as it's closing its mouth, I can just maybe potentially jump off.
Yeah. This thing...
I'm assuming it's too big for me to completely dive out of the way. I'm in the middle of it, right?
Well, I mean, it's up to you what you want to try and do.
But
You want to
what I
surf
mean
a
is,
tooth upwards.
visually, if you said if I look down, it's like directly below me, and its entire mouth is going to cover the whole bridge.
It's going to eat the whole
So,
bridge, pretty much.
Yeah, I can't get out. In my mind, that means I'm in the middle of it. I can't get out of the way in time. So my best chance is to try to get on top of it as it's closing its mouth and then jump off.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to do, yes.
Yeah. The enormous serpent mouth peers below you, and all of this happens in a split second. There is a huge rush of water. There's the crumble of rocks as this thing kind of breaks some of the chasm in its wake. It's so huge, it's ripping some of the rocks up. Toby pulls out a gun, and there's a horrible, sickening click for you, Toby. There is an arrow that is launched directly downwards. There is a flutter of wings, I think, as Keepi immediately reacts and flies in the opposite direction. And the jaws of the snake rise up, envelop the bridge. There is a, sorry to say, but pitiful attempt from Suuna to try and jump on the tooth.
It's all right.
You fail. You fall into the mouth. The entire bridge, including Suuna, is swallowed. And that is where we switch to the other team. Back in Bellona. You guys, we can join a little later on. I think as we move away from the Assassin's Guild, and you join the Inquisitor in heading towards the Inquisition headquarters.
Can I... I'm gonna wait. What? No, I'm gonna do it now as we're walking. Can I use an ability? Insight. Cost 3.
Right.
You see the intentions of a nearby creature, discovering a prominent motive. Choose one effect each time you use this ability. I can either learn something the creature intends to do in the next 10 minutes or learn something it intends to accomplish over a long period of time.
Which one are you aiming for? And I'm going to make these wobbly, by the way, because, you know, you can wobble it and I can wobble it around definitively so that they're not always restricted.
I want to actually find what he intends to do with us, what he intends to accomplish by bringing us back. Like, are his intentions Can I sense that his intentions are as he says, or is it like, oh, we might actually be prisoners or something like that? The sort of worry that Aura voiced.
From the conversation that you've had with him, and maybe the muttering and mumbling he's been questioning you on just very simple things since you've left, and you're all walking through the streets, he's heading uptown. You guys are in the midtown, pretty much, and he's heading towards where the fortress is and the relatively small area known as Hightown, which is where the nobility and the military housing is. There are academic buildings, libraries, things like that. Important buildings, quote unquote. And it's literally uptown. You have to head up a great set of stairs. There are other ways up there, but you're being taken up the main streets and then up these enormous flights of stone stairs. Very beautiful looking stairs, maintained and kept even within the chaos, towards the upper side of a large naturally forming plateau. At the very top of the plateau is where the very large fortress housing most of the military and the palace with the queen in and things like that is. Before coming all the way to the very top of it, Reginald takes you to another street. You start moving along, passing libraries and large governmental looking buildings that you know people of importance work from, running businesses, but from a macro level. Eventually you come to a large open portion of the rivers that run through the city, and you're walking across a bridge as you're brought to a really simple looking understated building, quite large, but just kind of grey bricked, no real discerning features to it. Really just kind of sits among all the other buildings, seems to be of no real importance. The type of building that most likely was built a long time ago, but not for anything other than basic needs of the city. Nothing like the grand library or the cultural buildings where they hold operas and things like that. And during this time, Ellie, he's speaking to you about small questions, just little nothing questions, like how long has it been since you guys went away, and all these kinds of simple things. Every now and then he'll question you on Suuna, or maybe he kind of mentions something about Alvin, this gnome companion of yours, just kind of prodding and poking, but nothing that he hasn't mentioned before. It does seem to you, however, that you're not under arrest. It doesn't seem like a trap. It doesn't feel so much like you're walking into a trap. But of course, when you're dealing with these people, they're very sneaky. If they're undermanned, then leading you to their headquarters before springing a trap would be a lot less dangerous for him than to attack you on your own turf and stuff like that. But it does very much just seem like you're being taken somewhere just to discuss something. I don't think you get the sense that you're in any immediate danger, or that you're suddenly going to be locked up or anything like that. But everything he's saying is being conducted with an air of secrecy, but you also get the sense that that's kind of just how these guys work. It's how they deal with stuff constantly.
I think I'd be very familiar with that, though, because the assassins work very similarly, where we talk maybe amongst ourselves a little more than we do anyone else.
Yeah.
So
you come to this huge building, this very large but plain-looking building that most likely has 3 stories to it, and it has an open archway that you take a few steps up and walk into, the kind of building that you might expect like an auditorium or something to be in, with this enormous kind of archway that many people would be able to pass to and from into, but nobody's going in there. And as you step inside, there's just an enormous foyer with nobody in there. A plain stone floor. Everything's kept neat. It doesn't look like there's any... it doesn't look abandoned, but there's also nobody around. It's odd. There are several doors that run along either side of this very large foyer. It's very well lit. All of the doors are closed, and there's a single staircase that leads up to another area. Without mentioning anything, Reginald just walks in and continues to walk towards the stairway. As you start moving along this great big foyer, you can hear the echoes of your own footfalls, but nothing crazy happens or anything like that. And he starts to move up the stairs. He turns around and says, you've most likely never been here before.
Is it that obvious?
Interesting.
I don't see why I would have come here.
Well, you've probably been places you're not supposed to be before.
Yeah, plenty of times.
Right, well, yes, this is the Inquisition's headquarters. Of course, it stands to reason that you won't be disclosing this information with anyone.
Of course not.
Looks
I look at the
to
other
everyone.
two.
Yeah.
I just do the motion of sealing my lips. Ain't gonna say a word.
Of course.
Unless I'm drunk.
Yes. Right. Well, up ahead, there is something that I've been tasked with showing you, and, well, I only found out about it this morning, and I'm very surprised that you will be finding out about it at all, but it seems to be of great importance to the Arch-Inquisitor. I'm not quite sure how to explain it to you, so I think best to show you first. Please follow me. He turns around. He closes his book, puts his pen away for the first time, probably since you've encountered him all day, and continues to walk up this set of stairs. Before reaching the top level, he takes a sharp left and continues to walk along the sort of parapet before moving into a hallway that takes him further and further into this very large building. Again, you don't see a person in sight. It's very plain. It's very well lit. The floor, plain. The walls, just stone. It's odd. It's like being in a mausoleum or something like that, more so, but without any adornments. There are no paintings. There are no statues. There's nothing to give this place any personality. It just looks like the shell of a building. And apart from sconces with torches on the walls, he leads you down a very long corridor. Again, many large, plain, just square, oak-looking doors. Not even, I think, probably polished or numbered or anything like that. He continues to walk forward before turning around again, and he reaches into his robe and pulls out a key. He looks left, he looks right, and then he puts the key into a lock on one of the doors, turns the lock, opens the door, and then gestures for you to go inside.
Where is everybody?
Well, everybody's very busy.
I don't know. It seems a little simple for Inquisition.
Well, we do quite often have to hide in plain sight.
How are you guys feeling? Does this seem... I peek in the room as I'm talking to them. Are you guys feeling okay about this?
Inside the room is a casket.
Is there someone in there? I'll point to it.
Yes, there is. We have to speak inside.
You first.
What is that in there?
That is a casket.
Why are we going in there?
Well, I need to show you the casket.
Yeah, I mean, But you go in first and we'll follow and yeah.
Yep, very well. He steps in, steps to one side. This room is dimly lit. There's only one sconce with one torch in it at the far end of the room, casting a glow across, again, a very plain-looking coffin here. Not poorly made by any means, but just nothing on it. A nice, strong-looking wooden casket on top of a plinth, and that's it. The room's pretty big too, but there's nothing else in it.
Well, I guess I go in.
Yeah, I'd walk in and step beside him.
I would probably get a little closer to the casket out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Step just inside the door and kind of I want to take something and kind of wedge it between the door before it closes, like a very small thing that I have in one of my pouches.
He looks you up and down and says, I have to close and lock the door.
Why?
Well, he points to the edges of the door where there's all sorts of furs on the inside. He says, that is rather rudimentary soundproofing that is required. This information.
There's nobody in the hallways.
Well, we don't know that.
The three of us can't fit in there. You know them, right?
I think it's fine, you guys.
Hey, I mean, if I die right now, I'm gonna be very upset. And I take a little piece of kindling that I had and I stick it in my pocket. I cross my arms and just.
I think we'll all be upset.
I assure you, you're not going to die right now, or at least hopefully you don't. If you do, then I would presume that we all do, and that's...
Right now? Why would you say it like that?
Oh, relax. What's in the cat? What is this we're checking out?
Just open the box.
He closes the door.
What's in the box?
Turns the key in the lock again, puts the key inside of his robe, and turns to the casket, and he says, well, I suppose I shall have to show you. Are you quite prepared?
I
I mean,
mean,
you gave us nothing to be prepared for, so sure, why not?
at most, there's just a dead guy in there, not unless you keep other things in caskets.
Well, I most certainly hope there is nothing more than a dead guy in here. And he puts his hands underneath the lid of the casket and lifts, and with a creak, he lifts the top open. It locks on two little stands, and inside you can see the corpse of a recently dead elf, an elven man, odd looking is your first instinct. He's wearing the robes of an Inquisitor. They look almost exactly the same as the robes that Reginald is wearing, except they seem to be thicker. You can see that this elf has most certainly been dead for a couple days, but still retains mostly his features, but he looks old like before he died. His skin is very taut and thin. You can see these kind of veins underneath the skin. It's pulled to his face. His skull is slightly too small in a way. His ears are slightly too long and they're flat and they come out directly away from his head. The hands on this elf are particularly large and they're resting across his chest, but you can see that the fingers on his hands are very long. Other than that, he just seems to be an elf, but there's just an element to him that seems very off. He most certainly doesn't look like any elf you've ever seen. There are several different types of elves in the world. There are wood elves and drow and high elves, and they kind of have differences. But for the most part, they generally, structurally, physically seem to be made of the same kind of bones, and the ears look the same and stuff like that. The Inquisitor, after opening the casket turns quickly to gather your reactions. It doesn't say anything.
Do I
Can I say-
recognize anything about it beyond like what you described? Do I like reckon
no, I don't think
anything of
any
significance?
of you do. No.
Okay.
You all see the
Dad?
same thing. It's not your dad.
I have no idea who this fella is, but damn.
Okay, what are we looking at here? It's a dead guy.
It seems as though none of you have seen it before. Interesting.
It? That's an elf. That's not an it.
Well, no, it's actually more of an it. What you see before you is...
Yeah, do you think we look like that? And I point to Beau and I. Like, we don't look like that.
Nothing like that.
It's part,
Very racist.
it's part elf. Yes. Somewhat elven in origin, but not fully. No. This is this creature is known as a primal. Have you encountered one of these before?
I'm
No.
gonna go up to the casket and investigate or look at it closer. Have I seen anything like this?
You guys can roll for me if you want.
Okay.
It's a 9 from me. I don't.
We got 13.
13, 9. The Aura and Ellie. There was a person that you encountered. The figure who you met right back at the beginning of the campaign, who was smearing poop in the form of hourglasses and stuff over the ancient ruins that contained the Gate of Time. There was that crazed old man that was saying all these crazy things like it costs a soul and we are at the tip of a spear of time and, you know, you've seen me before but you've never met me and things like that. This like strange old man who was kind of shouting at you guys but really just seemed like a crazy person, and you moved past him and entered into the Gate of Time when you saw many different versions of yourselves. Remember you saw kind of the flow of time for a moment? This creature looks like that creature, but they're most certainly not the same person. But whatever they are is the same thing.
Why is he dead?
Oh, I was so very much hoping that you would tell me.
Was he magical? Did he just die?
Yes. The moment, in fact, that the magic seemingly left us.
So he was alive by magic. I mean, it makes sense that he's dead then.
Yes, the very odd and strange thing about this particular creature is that, well, many years ago, they were created in such a way that they were able to predict outcomes. That was their purpose, on a grand scale. It's later years, it became a little more confused, especially with the addition of Arcani. It claimed that the variables became wildly unmanageable, and it seems very odd to me that it was not able to predict this outcome. He gestures towards the casket.
I look towards the other two.
I guess I come forward.
Is it because we chose not to follow the path?
Path?
I'm like, remember, we were supposed to go to the gates. We only went to one.
Why would they die? Why wouldn't others?
Oh, anything magical must be dead by now.
Like, that's not true, because, like...
No, anything made of magic.
Oh,
Like,
yes, all
purely
the
made
golems,
of magic.
golems have gone. All the demons and devils, especially those in our employ, have all vanished, which is absolutely terrible for most of them.
And
are they
people who
chaotic?
survived off magic to live longer, they're all gone.
I mean, how do they live? Does it have to do with how... Did we kill them?
When we got zapped back here, that's when magic ceased to exist.
Yeah, but did you ever get that feeling like, hey, like a question of, do you want to keep your magic? What did you say,
I said yes.
Beau?
As I've moved forward, I'm just looking down at the body, just trying to understand and process everything. That I guess I blinked for a moment and I turned to Aura, like I just had no idea she's just called my name. Like I'm just looking at her confused.
Did you get a feeling like when this all started, like if you wanted to keep magic or not? What did you say?
I did, and I did keep it so that I could get rid of the snow.
I said no. Is it my fault?
No, I don't think it's your fault. I think whatever sent us back here, I think that, I mean, it stripped us all of our powers. And with it, everything else went. I said yes. I don't have magic, though.
True, but maybe because I said no, I took it from all of us.
No, I don't think that's the case, because there was an imbalance. It asked us individually. I don't know.
I still don't think that explains why this thing didn't predict the outcome that happened.
I'm sorry, what took your magic? And all magic, precisely?
Well, I was hoping you would know that.
Well, you said that you might be the cause.
Well, all the gods are dead, aren't they?
And you believe the reason that the magic is gone is that all of the gods have been vanquished.
Well, what if the gods were the ones giving us the magic and we just killed them all?
Well, I don't think that's the case.
Why would you say that? What do you think is... Where do you get magic then?
Well, we just found it to be verifiably untrue that the magic came from gods.
Where did it come from?
Well, it came from several sources. As far as we were to understand, land, people were able to draw magic from other planes. There were wizards and sorcerers, druids. Clerics claim that their magic came from the divine. Not quite sure myself, but...
Yeah, well, how's that working out for them now?
Well, if it all came from one single source and you snuffed that out, then that is rather pertinent.
Well, we didn't snuff anything out. If anything, we tried to fix stuff.
That's a debatable term, but yeah, we tried.
Can I touch this creature and see it? I mean, in a weird way, I'm gonna try to wake him up.
What are you doing? Describe everything.
I'm gonna feel for a pulse. I'm gonna touch his hands. I'm going to touch his face. And
I'm gonna back up while she does.
There's no pulse.
Back up. This is getting freaky now. I'm backing up.
Extreme case of rigor mortis happening. So he's not really movable. There is absolutely no pulse if you reach under for a pulse here, and then it's cold. It doesn't smell good. It smells like strange herbs and incense. There's a sensation that this thing is covered in something, but not quite sure. But yeah, there is no pulse, tough skin. I feel very cold, leathery, or like an old piece of paper is what probably it feels like, or a hard piece of paper.
Search his skin to see if I can find any weird markings or anything that looks like it was important to why he may have died.
Looking for markings on his
Markings.
face.
No, on his body.
He's got a robe on, and you can only see kind of the top. Like he has like a V of his chest available, and you can see a very thin-looking chest under there. This is a skinny-looking creature.
Can I respectfully search his body?
Yeah, roll me a dice.
Okay. 4.
You begin as respectfully as possible, kind of like investigating this creature. There's a moment where the Inquisitor reacts and then kind of just lets you do it, and falls back with the others, watching you kind of investigate, looking for anything on this creature. As you're looking him up and down, there is no markings. There's no real discernible features, but it feels, as you're kind of looking this thing over, like just an old, and I don't know how many corpses that you've encountered, but it seems like an old elf. This really doesn't seem like anything different. There is no nothing stands out to you at all as you're searching him over.
Yeah, I'm drawing from like my hunting experience with animals. So I mean, it just looks like he died naturally. Like there's no stabs or wounds. I don't. Maybe it was just old age.
I nudge the Inquisitor while I'm standing next to him.
Yes.
It's like, so what did he say was supposed to happen? You said that he didn't predict this.
Well, he was predicting things, and they predicted many cataclysmic events, many of which I believe we stopped. We weren't expecting anything on this scale. For the most part, we thought it would be internal, as in us, mortal kind, that would bring about something on such a level as this. It seems that we were underprepared for, your side of this story with the with the gods and this Deivaki creature.
He's not a creature. Was a god, which he still must be if he was able to control our lives for a year. Right?
I mean, that can't be the case because, Beau, you said you got rid of all the snow, but you didn't do that while we were fighting him, did you?
No, I didn't. I did it as we were returning.
Yeah, when we were ripped out of that dream world that we were in.
Okay.
So maybe... Remember, he said he was mortal once. Maybe he is again. If everything lost its godliness and magic, then maybe he's like us. Do you know where? And does anyone... I couldn't get a sense of where would we even begin to look for this guy?
Sometimes when I woke up, I sensed him, but I've tried to feel him since and I haven't. I can try now.
If it helps.
Can I use Nemesis, Brad, to see if I sense Deiveki?
Yeah, he's got to be close. He's got to be damn close. Let me see what my exact writings are on Nemesis. And they are present, even if they're hidden. So yes, you can.
Do I need a roll?
Let me see here. I would like you to roll just this once. Normally you don't, and I'll give you will get a definitive answer either way.
Oh my god.
It's okay. It's okay. You still get the answer.
Okay.
He is not nearby, but you do not get the sense that he is gone or dead or not here somewhere. But yeah, it doesn't seem like he's like in this building or in this casket, you know, or like Reginald's gonna whip off a mask and it's actually him or anything like that.
I don't know. He's not dead. Daveki's somewhere. He's not here right now or close, I guess. I feel like I can sense him when he is close, but I haven't been able to feel him since we woke up.
Well, I don't think staring at this guy's helping us.
No, I suppose not. Well, he reaches up and unclasps the rods that are holding up the head of the casket and begins to lower it down.
Wait.
Yes, it's not the lightest.
I walk up and try to help him keep it open.
Yes. What?
Let me check.
Okay.
I'd like
Lifts
to-
it up, puts the rods back in place.
Now, Brad, you can correct me if this is wrong, if I am misremembering this, but I'm pretty sure someone along the way said that 3 of us were expected, but 1 of us was not. And we deduced that to be Suuna was the unexpected piece of the puzzle in our group.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would turn and say, it's not us that we don't know. We were a part of the plan. From what I can gather. And I started looking over the guy while I'm saying this.
And which plan?
Have you not heard of the cycles?
Cycles of war?
No. No. Aura, can you help me out?
Cycles. Everything repeats itself. The dying order.
Okay. Cycles repeating and dying.
Do you not know
order.
any about? I mean, for you guys are supposed to know everything.
Well,
Yeah.
apparently we really do not.
Where is your Narc and I Inquisitors? Like, where are the ones that deal with magic?
Hello, you're looking at one. And that one is the Arch Inquisitor, or was. One of them.
Okay, so how are you feeling?
Well, I'm rather concerned.
No, how are you? Do you have magic, or did you?
Not so much, although all of my gadgets have stopped working.
Okay, I'm gonna walk up to him, put my hand on his forehead. Does he feel hot or anything?
Feels normal.
Okay, I think he's not gonna die, so that's good.
What a relief.
That's good.
Are you carrying some sort of infection?
I
yes,
mean,
I have a plague, so it's good you don't have it.
Well,
He doesn't
that
seem to know
information's
anything.
been useful before.
I don't have a plague. It's
Oh.
a joke.
Right. Well, okay. Yeah. Well, we've had plagues that have come from other planes before, and they are rather problematic.
Do I look like I have a plague?
I don't know. They are. Well, the way plagues work, they're small. It's a
why are we just
micro
no?
level of-
Let's get back on topic.
I will smack you in the face. Okay,
I'm-
yes.
Let's get back
Okay.
on topic.
Yep.
Right.
So we were told, the 3 of us, we were a part of the plan, but there was another in our group, which apparently you know about already.
Yes, the woman from
And-
Los Corin, Lastvale.
Yes, and she was not a part of the plan. So if they could not have predicted this in the cycles, maybe that's where the chaos of it all got lost by this dead guy.
Well, unfortunately, much of the information that was available to our Arch Inquisitor Primal here has been lost We were
Did you say
relying
planes?
on- I'm sorry. Planes, yes. There's several different planes. You were visiting one of them.
How did you know that?
What? Your friends here have filled me in on some details as to your adventures, where you've been.
Did you tell him that we were in different planes?
They told me
Oh,
you
I told him we killed
the
Death.
god
We
of
killed
death
Myrtle.
in his own
Okay.
home.
Yeah. I mean, that's a different plane. We were literally in Death's plane.
I know. I just
Not very pleasant. It's a lot darker. Now that I'm, alive again, I can see that now. I liked it then, though.
can you go to other planes? Still.
No, they appear to all have been shut off from us. We're alone for the first time in a very long time, I would imagine, perhaps forever.
Okay.
Is that so bad?
Well,
Maybe for you, because you guys liked magic, but
the death
I'm
toll
fine without
is
it.
rising quite considerably.
Have you seen Ellie? The streets here?
oh yeah, I was yeah. I got punched just for walking.
Oh God.
Perhaps.
Okay, but we need to find Deiveki. Can you help us find Deiveki?
Yes. And do you have a physical description? I understand that might be a little wobbly.
I can sense him. I don't know.
Let's see. Large, giant hands that are detached from his body. That's what I remember. Unless
A bunch of faces.
I
there's a
wouldn't-
lot.
I wouldn't imagine he'd look anything like this if, there is no I would assume that was what was keeping him together.
Probably
Magic.
broken now. His ego really, rode on the fact that he was a god.
Egotistical.
How was he able to keep us in a dream world for a year if there's no magic?
Maybe like his last hurrah, just to really mess with us, or well,
I'm
shit.
sorry,
Why didn't I think of that?
You were trapped
No.
in a dream world.
Maybe he wanted to see what.
Okay.
I mean, when I was in my dream world, I don't know about you guys, but I killed the leader of the assassins. I quit, and I went and no, don't write that down. Don't write that down. I've already told him you don't need to write it. Can I go up and take the pen from him?
You can try.
I'm gonna try.
Roll.
15.
Okay, I will roll for him. Yeah, you take the pen.
Don't write that down. That doesn't need to be on the record.
Okay.
I killed Zach. I quit. I visited you all.
I remember
Beau,
that.
I saw you. You married someone that looked oddly like me.
You saw wait, you actually.
Oh, is that actually what happened?
It was all apparently a dream.
But did you not live the life that you wanted to live when you got back?
I mean,
I did.
I did too.
And now if he knows all of this about us, he might know our weakness.
He's kind of obsessed with us. Maybe that's his weakness.
I mean, I would be pretty obsessed with us too if you took away everything I had.
That means if he was able to do that, there's got to be some sort of magic or something out there. There's something out there he's using, so we have to find that.
Or, I mean, like I said, that was his last hurrah. That's what he got before he knows we're going to be hunting him. He's as obsessed with us as we are with him.
When I did my sense for the nemesis, could I get a vibe from, I got a 1, from like a direction? Okay.
Unfortunately not.
Maybe we just start looking for him. Start asking around. I mean, did he have any other names? Maybe he goes by Dave now.
Well, these guys have books. Maybe we can trace it back. It's got to be something somewhere.
Well, then
This guy doesn't just magically become a god. It doesn't just happen out of nowhere.
Well, because he was a god, he could have taken any form before he returned. He could be an animal for all.
Yeah, but
we
he had to
know.
work towards it. Like, if I became a god, you guys would know I had a history still before that, even if I ended up looking like Myrtle eventually.
Tell us your side of the story. And I look at our new friend.
Oh, yeah,
Right,
you
yes.
owe us.
Well, yes, okay. If you're... Well, I would like to question you on some of the things you just mentioned at the end. Would that be... Right,
Yeah, of
but
course.
We need more
Yeah,
pieces too.
my pen.
You can't write that down.
I need it to actually...
Oh, okay, here. Hand it back.
Thank you. Right. So, yes, we can look into this fellow of yours, with no description. I'll look through the archives as well, and we can begin an investigation. Well, I suppose, hold on. I'll take you to the beginning of where we believe this to have begun. And then afterwards, perhaps you could tell me your story in its entirety in less breasts, more facts next time.
Oh, I thought those were pretty factual.
Well,
Part of the story, apparently. So
I suppose from the beginning, we had an informant out of Caspian Wharf who corroborated information from other parts of Lacrin that there was a ship that was collecting Arcanine, and at first we just assumed it was to bolster the ship alone. It's happened many times, Arcanine, that allows it to go faster or carry lighter loads, etc. But we sent an Inquisitor to investigate, and they ended up being killed, and that is a severe red flag for us. We sent another Inquisitor, and he defected to the side of the enemy. Unbeknownst to us, for several years, he was feeding a group known as the Dragonfly Crew. He scans your face, Aura, to see if there's any recognition, but I'm guessing there's not. Keeping their scent off of our noses, essentially. Several months ago, our renegade Inquisitor goes missing. 2 weeks later, some thing of immense magical power is activated and causes all of this snow to fall. He looks across all of you again, all over Lacrin.
Well, that wasn't us.
No, but I believe that's when you vanished. Well,
Slightly before.
we...
I feel like I was kidnapped, I would like to say.
Right, yes. Kidnapped. Yes. The Vaki creature. We mobilized our team to investigate. At the time, our Inquisition was stretched thin already, and while looking into information, several teams across Lacrin discovered a singular location. The site of Thelmesia, if you've ever heard of it. It was a continent that was destroyed. The reason our Inquisition exists all the way under the water. Well, that ancient continent was destroyed hundreds of years ago. We didn't tell anybody that it was little more than rubble under the sea. However, many in the Inquisition know that the machine which destroyed Thelmesia is still somewhat active underwater, and it created a sort of bubble. Nothing more, really. This Dragonfly crew were down there, somehow. We posited that they had used their own acquired Arcanine to somehow tap into the old Arcanine that sunk Thelmesia, and had created something that we began to assume was a weapon. Our Primal friend there suggested that what they had created would cause, and I quote, a cataclysmic event that would remove all life from the mortal realm of Lacrin. And our closest team to the site also happened to have access to a piece of Arcanine confiscated from that Dragonfly organization that would allow them to travel deep underwater. We have sent several Inquisitors, merfolk, tritons and the like. They were presumably intercepted and neutralized by the enemy force, so it fell to a single group of Inquisitors, and we sent as much backup for them as we could. A single Inquisitor. Well, they used the Arcanine to travel down to the ruins of Thelmesia, and we are reasonably sure that they too were intercepted and neutralized. Sorry, they were actually part of my team. The machine, this Arcanine, it was activated a second time. The clerics in our Inquisition believe this to have affected their ability to commune, and that was 10 weeks ago. The truth is, we underestimated that location. The Dragonfly organization had set up over 50 red herring sites across Lacrin. Thanks to the infiltration from a trusted Inquisitor, we had the Thelmesia site as a lower priority for a long time, too long, and we sent another team to investigate. And the machine was active and powering the Arcanine of Thelmesia. It's not active anymore. This bubble has burst. The area flooded. There's bodies, pieces of Arcanine, several corpses that belong to our own Inquisition, others mostly that of the Dragonfly crew. We do not believe we've discovered everything, but the machine which was used to create the snow has been destroyed, scattered all across the ocean floor. And we thought it was over, and then 2 days ago all the magic in the world inexplicably ceased. And it seems you have the answers that we have yet to even have the questions for. Hence all of my questions. So perhaps we could...
What did your people do? Because it kind of seems like the timing's a little suspicious.
Which timing?
You sent them down there and then everything got messed up?
Yes. Well, I simply think we were too late. This has been planned for years. We got there at the 11th hour, 12th hour.
So why do you think we know what to do about this? Or how to fix this?
Well, again, you seem to have answers.
Okay.
Perhaps you could tell your story.
That's a long one.
Well, do you like tea?
Yeah.
Perhaps
I haven't had tea. Tea sounds good.
Perhaps I'll get us some tea and we'll move away from this particular room.
That would be
Begins to
good.
Close the casket again.
A change of scenery would be nice.
Yes.
Sorry about your friend.
Yes. Well, that's the nature of the job. Come. I shall take us somewhere a little more comfortable. He takes a key out from inside of his pocket and unlocks the door and heads out. You following?
Follow. Yeah.
I follow too.
That is where we shall switch back to the swamp lands of the Yoskorin Mountains. Whoa! It doesn't unpause. Good. there is a horrible moment for you, Toby, and you, Kairo, as this enormous snake launches upwards from this 20-foot drop out of the water and just consumes the bridge and Suuna. The thing continues to rise upwards. It's propelled now by what feels like maybe like 100-foot of snake that was coiled and has now launched itself upwards. This thing goes up higher beyond the edge of the cliff where you are, and then eventually you see it now suddenly begin to arc and fall down on the side that you are on, Kairo.
I scream.
What do you guys want to do?
And then knock another arrow.
Yeah, I can't get across. It destroyed the bridge, so I need to unjam the gun. So I just start tapping it, and I get my ramrod and just get to work and unjamming that.
Are you moving out of the way, Kairo?
Yeah, depending on how close to me did it fall. I know it's on
you're
my
looking
side,
up
but...
at what probably feels like a skyscraper about to fall down on you. Like it's come up out of the thing, and it's kind of doing this, and it's going to land, and
I would've
probably
backed up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Both of you roll me dice.
That's a 9.
9 and a 4 from you guys. So I'll start with the 4. A failure. Your intended action. You fail your intended action and face a setback. You might lose equipment, take damage from an enemy, counterattack, or face some other misfortune. I would say really all that happens here is you do not clear the jam.
Can I
Unless
can I
you
spend AP to make it a 6?
Not yet, because that's not a roll yet. As much as I love the idea of it.
Oh, it's in combat. Alright, we're not doing it in combat. Okay.
No, it's just a failure. I say you don't unjam the gun here. You get you see Kairo fire another arrow off, and you succeed in your action, but there's a cost. Here's what I will allow you to do. You can either hit the snake with the arrow, or you can move out of the way.
Ooh, well, I'm assuming that I better move out of the friggin' way.
Yeah. So you knock an arrow, but there's no time to fire it. You have to start running, and you run to one side, and then this mighty great big serpent begins to land. There's a crack. You see the edge where the bridge was break, and it crumbles and falls into the water below as this snake lands the top 2/3 of its body on
Is its mouth open? Can I see Suuna?
The mouth is now quite far away from you, actually. You're kind of at the area where its like midsection is,
Sure.
and the head lands in the jungle beyond where you are, further down the path. The tail is behind it and climbing up the side of the cliff face here as it now begins to move. I'm going to roll a dice to determine whether it's full or if it's going to turn around and take seconds.
Oh my god.
You can see this thing now begin to turn. It doesn't seem like it's done with you. It's definitely seen you. This enormous tongue licks out. You see it crack a tree, bending this tree and snapping it as it kind of
Holy
senses.
shit.
And then finally you see its eye turn, the opposite eye to the one which had an arrow in it. This enormous, great big eye the size of a door sights you, Kairo, and this thing, it's moving quickly, but it's huge, so it seems kind of slow as it's turning now. Kairo, you're kind of gonna find yourself, like, as this thing's turning around, like, trapped against
Rock in a hard place.
behind you will be the cliff face with Toby on the other side, and the snake is now arcing around you, and this is not easy terrain that you're on already. It's kind of mountainous. There's lots of jungle and all sorts going on. What do you guys do next?
I need to clear this jam, so I just take a deep breath and try to do it more calmly this time.
Yep, you can roll to do that. What are you doing, Kairo?
Oh, honey.
I'm gonna knock another blue-tipped arrow and try to shoot this thing in the nostril this time.
Okay, roll for me.
That's a 19.
19 is a success. Yeah, I think you fire an arrow off behind you.
Does it sneeze on a 19 and shoot my friend out of its mouth?
It does not. It might have done on a 20. But you do fire an arrow into a soft portion of its face, allowing the poison to actually take some small effect as you hit this thing. You also deal 2 damage to it, and but it continues. It really doesn't seem too affected by this arrow or the poison.
It got a little bit of poison when it got under the eye too, right? So this is 2 poisons. I
think-
realize that's nothing to it, but just
Yeah.
clarifying. Okay.
You're aware that it's probably going to take 4 or 5 of these poison arrows before
I
that
would think at least for that
begins
size.
to bring this thing down.
Right.
Hippo, you succeed in your action, but there is a cost. And I think what happens with you clear this this jam, and as you do so, do you go to reload another?
Yeah.
Is this a
wait.
bolt action rifle that you've got? So it's like
I've
a
got
magazine or a single thing. Like what are you working with?
I've got a muzzle loader.
Right. Oh, okay. So we're working with an old musket type thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd say the cost, usually it doesn't matter that you have to reload, but we'll say that you have to spend this turn kind of reloading before you do another one. But you do clear the jam and you begin to reload another one. The ground is trembling and rumbling. There's parts of the edge of this cliff kind of falling into the water below. And you can see that Kairo is in a seriously precarious position here. She's kind of trapped. And this thing doesn't appear to really be doing... the arrows are not really seemingly doing a huge amount of damage here. I'm not sure if you're aware that they're poison, though. Snake. Snake continues to turn. It's now kind of turned almost fully, and I think probably beelining for you, Kairo. It will get to you soon.
I'm knocking another arrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot it this time. It'll work.
Give me
Okay,
the,
so
give me the rolls. You just
Is its mouth open at any point during my turn?
not yet.
I can
no.
roll for that if you want. Okay. All right. So in that case, I'm going for the other nostril.
Okay.
Yoink. 12.
12 and a 10. So the gun goes off behind you. You deal the damage you wanted to this creature. You see this rifle fire. There's probably a very loud crack, and then you see just a portion just somewhere along the flank of this thing kind of blow, flesh. Just a what would be pretty awful to a person is a small flesh wound on this thing, but you certainly deal the damage. And another arrow flies towards it as well, and on a 12 that's a success. Hippo, roll me another d20.
Okay. 11.
An 11 is just enough. Your setback there, by the way, is that you were stumbling forward on the trembling and you almost fell into the crevasse. But you stopped yourself from doing so. And
Yeah, scoot back a bit and then get another shot ready.
the success, you land another arrow and deal another 2 damage. And you've now got 3 poison arrows in this thing. As it opens its mouth and is now like it's about to eat you, basically. It's now just rushing towards you. It's figured out a way, like as it's turned, it's now kicking with the back of its tail and pushing itself forward. You will be eaten on the next turn. unless whatever you do now affects that. What are the two of you doing?
Shooting it again. That's all I can do.
I can either jump in the water or shoot it again. If I jump into the water to try to live, is that so far down that the impact will kill Zorsme, do I think?
Not normally, but you don't really know what's going on down there. There's parts of the
There could be
side
rocks and
shit falling in. There's debris. You don't know how deep the water is down there, but it's probably deep enough since it was hiding this fucking giant great big snake, unless it came from an underground tunnel, which it probably did, but still. You're
I think
probably
I'm
going to be
still-
okay, but it's not the best time to be jumping into water with falling rocks above you.
I think I'm still hoping that I can do something to get my new friend out. So I will stand my ground, knock another arrow, and go for. Did you say the mouth is open?
Mouth is open, yes.
Going for the roof of the mouth.
All right.
The
Toby,
interior there.
You're firing
19.
off the gun
Yeah,
again?
I'm firing off another shot.
Okay.
7.
A 7 is two more hits. The arrow flies forward. You see it strike the roof of the mouth of this snake. That is 4 arrows in, and the snake slows, but doesn't stop. Another part of the front of this thing's snout is hit with a bullet, or a what were they called?
Musket ball.
A musket ball from Ippo, as both of you fire these things in. The impact of both of your attacks don't stop this thing from moving directly towards you, Kairo. However, there's a moment as it's moving towards you, as it's about to it angles its head slightly as if to grab at you and just consume you whole, the same way it did with Suuna. When suddenly it shifts, its whole head reactively shifts upwards, and the back and the top of its head is turned towards you, and you are hit by it instead.
Oof.
Can you roll me a d20? Because
4.
That is a 4. You're going in the drink anyway. You also take. This is bad. You take 6 damage. It hits really hard.
Shit.
So
I'm
from
in the
your
drink, boys.
perspective, Ippo, you see this odd flinch from the snake, which it just sends it off course. It doesn't seem to have been from either of you two, and then. But it doesn't stop its momentum as it collides with Kairo. You see her moving out of the way, but this thing's huge, and it looks like she's hit by a car. She is launched off of the edge with the rocks and the debris. You see Kairo fall downwards. Kairo, you're also just the impact there. It literally feels like you've been hit by a car, and you take the 6 damage. So the 4 was for you to that was you failing to stay up on the
ledge
thing here.
Yep.
Leaving us with you, Ippo. In fact, actually, what do you want to do? So, Kairo, I think you fall down. You are going to have to just roll for me reflexively. You're not dead or gone or anything yet, but we'll see
Gotcha.
what's happening first. A 6 is a tough choice. You succeed in your action, which I'm going to say is that you aren't immediately killed by falling debris or hit by a rock on the way down. You don't also hit a rock as you hit the water, but you hit the water hard. You go under, and you realize now that it is very deep here. You fall about 20 feet before you hit the water, and then you also go under, and you feel the swell of some of these rocks around you, creating a downwards drift as well, as you are pulled under the surface. Above you, Ippo, what do you want to do?
Oh, can I see her in the water?
No.
And I'm just gonna shoot the big snake again. If I could have seen her, I would have tried something, but I need to try and stop that thing first because it'll interfere with any attempts to rescue or whatever, and it's got Suuna, so.
Alright, roll for me.
A 15.
A 15 is a success, yes. You fire off another shot. The snake almost certainly sees you as it rights itself, but it turns across from you and it begins to slide across the other side of the crevasse here. It sees you, its enormous tongue flickers out, its tail moving around behind it. It doesn't seem to be interested in you. As you fire this bullet, you see another flesh wound hit the snake, but it begins to move across and away from you on the adjacent side, moving away from you. It doesn't seem to be coming after you anymore.
Alright, I take another look down, see if I can see Kairo in the water yet. She's coming up to the surface. Or...
Kairo, roll for me, unless there's something you want to do underwater.
2.
You do not see her come up from under the water. Kairo, you are not even sure which way is up.
Mm-hmm.
It's
deep.
I think you are spinning around. You are suffering the effects of being smacked off this ledge, and you are just kind of turning around and swimming. I think at one point you do swim directly into a rock face as you find the side, but you do not find your way
hurt
up.
Too. Yeah.
And what do my options look like for getting across to the other side?
It's a 15-foot gap. The rope bridge is the only thing you can see for a long way. The actual area where the snake landed made this into like a 20-foot gap, but it's not anything obvious. It would really come down to if you have anything that allows you to get over to the other side.
Well, I mean, I've got a rope, but by the time I get it up and think it might be away, so I figure I best take another shot at it while I can and then get after it. At least I can maybe make it, well, it'll be easy to track, it's big, but I want to hurt it before I catch up to it, I guess. So I'll blast in another shot.
Okay.
A 4.
A 4. Guess what happens?
I shoot and it hits nothing.
Jam.
Jammed.
It jams, but the bullet leaves.
Oh, it's just like a misfire.
Misfire. You see the snake beginning to move away from you now. It's so considerable that like really only its head and maybe part of its body are moving away from you. You've still got like 2/3 of this thing ahead of you that's following it across. But it's pretty quick. It also is doing that thing that snakes do where it kind of kicks itself forward with its tail, kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to tell from the enormous size of it, but it's creating a mess of a trembling earthquake scenario.
I mean, no offense to Kairo, but I mean, the snake's much more important to me at this point, so I'm just going to keep firing shots off at it until it's out of sight.
Okay. Give me another roll. Oh, wow. I think the gun is broken, if I'm honest. I don't know what it is. I think something was wrong with it. I don't know fully how your musket works, but I don't know if it has like a firing pin or if there's an element to this thing.
Maybe my flash tray or something broke with a misfire, so I can't.
The repeat damage and breaks and the misfires. Something this time breaks in it, and you're gonna have to sit and repair it. It's repairable, but right now it's dud, as your gun outright breaks.
In that case, I sling it, I get my rope, and I. Is the bridge post still on the other side?
The bridge post, I will say yes, is, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to loop up my rope and get a toss over and try and loop it onto that other side.
Okay. Roll me a dice. Kairo, roll me as well. See if you can make your way out of the water.
That's a 12.
Well, you surface. after all this time, you suddenly break through to the surface. There's maybe like a terrible wound of some sort on your head. Nothing terrible, like as in like really, really bad, but the concussion will be heavy as you surface from the water here. There's still rocks falling down around you as you break the surface of the water. Looking up, you see Keepy flying in the direction of where the snake is before turning back around. You see a rope fly out from one side of this crevasse as you're looking up, aiming towards the wooden post. It falls short, Ippo, and falls down halfway down into this crevasse thing here.
If I spot Kairo, well, grab the rope. I'll tie it to a tree, and you can climb up.
And I'm kind of blubbing. I'll make an attempt.
Okay, yeah, both of you roll for me again. The snake is now kind of getting away.
11.
A 2. I have an ability. I don't know if this will help, but I'll say it now. Just
Yeah, go on.
I have martial. When you face a serious test of strength, you can organise the help of your allies to overcome it. Whole party must be nearby and able to participate. Everyone must roll. The majority of players, there's only 2 of us, score a success or better, you can overcome the challenge.
So if you both roll for this instead, you can overcome it. Sorry, what am I looking at?
Martial. Yeah. It's in the global abilities part of it.
The whole party must be nearby and able to participate. I would say the whole party isn't nearby since Suuna is in the snake.
Okay.
Sorry, I feel like it's like, you know, like everyone has to be there. Like if it was a tug of war, you would need all 3 of you. Yeah.
I tried.
That's okay. You are holding on to this rope. Kairo is holding on to the other end, but I would say you're unsuccessful in pulling her up here. You hold on to it, Kairo, and there's you now have like a stable grip. But Ippo is struggling to just pull you up immediately. The snake. Yeah, go on.
Oh, snake.
Yeah, I'll be screaming to him. We gotta go after it.
Right, let me just tie it to the post and you can pull yourself up.
Yeah, go after it.
I can't. Right, I want to quickly tie it to the post and then see if I can't like climb across. Is there like a cliff face I can climb across?
You could run along this side. It's kind of moving along the edge of the cliff edge on the other side, 20 feet away from you.
I could follow it.
You could follow it on this side if you wanted to run down this way. It's not necessarily easy or clear. It's not like an open plain here. It's awkward, but it is possible that you could follow it from your side, just so you know.
Then I'll tie this off onto the post and then I'll start following it parallel on the other side.
All right.
Stick with it.
Roll.
If I can see it, I'll roll first.
Roll for that, just to see how well of a job you do.
Can
11.
I roll to toss my bow to him?
Gonna roll to
I'd be
throw the
one-handed.
bow up.
Yeah, I'd be one-handed holding onto that rope, so it's your
Well, I wouldn't get
decision.
any arrows with it, unless you tucked into your quiver first.
I'd
It's a
have to toss
20-foot
your
throw,
quiver
and
or
you'd
my
have to
quiver.
throw the quiver up. It's probably not
I'll roll for it.
doable. You want to do it?
Probably not doable, but it's Suuna, so I'm gonna try.
All right. Yeah, before you climb up. A 6 and a 7. You succeed.
Yes.
And what did you get on your roll for the thing? An 11. So it's successfully tied to the post. I think, yeah, let me see 1 second here, Kairo.
Yeah, I'm not trying to climb up yet. I'm concentrating on getting him the weapon.
Yeah, roll me a D, 9.
D9. Five.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. You lose your torch in this chaos as you scuffle through all this stuff. Your torch is lost. You see it fall into the water and sink.
Okay.
You launch the songbow all the way up to the top. You see it land next to you, Hippo. Then a quiver of arrows, a bunch of arrows fall out, but the majority stay in the quiver as it lands next to you. What do you then do?
Oh, good job. I quickly snatch it up and
And I just yell, go, go.
I open fire on the snake right away.
All right. You're running after it?
Well, if I can see it, I'm going to shoot it first.
Okay, yeah. You can see it's still there. The tail is here. It's getting away from you, though. Okay, yeah. You roll for me for the attack. You fire a miss, is what happens there. You simply fire an arrow. How long's it been since you fired an arrow?
Might have leaned on my rifle a bit too much in recent years. Maybe been about a decade or so.
Can I roll to be climbing up this rope?
Can. Yes. Technically, that was on
18.
his previous thing. You begin climbing up. And Toby, what are you doing? This is
I start running along to see if I can... I want to get a bigger cross-section of it to try and hit. Bigger target makes it easier.
You're running and attacking, did you say? Sorry?
No, I want to run so I can get in a better position to hit it. You know, more of a chunk of it to hit.
Toby starts running off after this thing. You see him kind of fumbling with an arrow, but moving one way. There's also this kind of shot of Kairo climbing up, abseil style, up the side of this thing. It's not easy to do, but you're doing it really successfully on an 18. Keepy is just flying around above you.
Yep.
Inside the snake. Suuna, what are you doing?
Well, I think
can't
I'm
do that
being
thing, by
thrown
the way.
around. Yeah, I think I'm being thrown around, right?
Yes.
And am I in its stomach or am I in its throat? With my walking stick preventing it from swallowing me. Where am I? What's happening?
I've rolled 2 1s for you so far, and I'm so sorry. But
Well, that's
you're,
shitty.
I know
better.
you're really, you're progressing down this thing's gullet quite far, but I don't think you're in its stomach yet. I don't think you're being digested.
Great. Am I able to still jab my walking stick in its throat and try to prevent myself from going any further? And
Roll for me.
all right. Well, that's all we got to do is better than a 1, right? Because that's what you've been doing.
That's right. Nice.
Holy shit!
Oh, yes!
Finally!
Good
Lord.
A triumph.
Good job.
You automatically succeed at what you were trying to do, and you may even find added fortune. Would you like the added fortune or the double damage?
Add fortune, get the fuck out of there.
Listen, I think me, PB, I'm a damage whore, and I always have been. I want to do that, but I think Suuna's character, it's luck. So we're going to go with that one. We'll go with the added fortune.
Added fortune.
Snakes
That's right.
regurgitate things when they get upset.
Yeah,
Snake.
perhaps it'll spit me out.
Hippo, you are running down the, chasing after this thing as fast as your old legs will take you. When the
Old but
snake
strong.
slows down, it's slowing anyway because it's filled with poison, which is kind of messing with it, and it's definitely feeling the effects of the sort of sleeping poisons that were on this set of arrows that hit it. In its confusion, it believes that whatever is inside of it is causing it to feel sick, and so there are
Wouldn't
these
surprise me.
horrible turning rolls before suddenly you see the back tail lift up and slam the ground. Kairo, you're climbing up when the ground trembles again and you maybe slip and hit the rocks. Hippo, you're able to catch up with the snake as it turns suddenly one way, moving deeper into the forest now, across from you, away from you, on the other side. However, ahead of where the snake is, laying, covered in a horrible mucus, is Suuna. Suuna, you have all of your stuff, which is something I rolled for. You are covered in a mucus. This thing you went down, halfway down this thing, and then back up as this thing kind of launched you out. You do have damage. You have taken 6 damage
Wow. All
as
right.
well. And
Okay.
that is where we end today's session.
Oh,
Yay,
As,
she made it out.
as you are, barely successful.
Oh, that 20 was just perfect.
Keeps that
And-
laugh when I got launched off the cliff about killed me.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. Well, it's because he said you feel like you've been, hit, by a car. And it's just maybe because I know what that feels like. So I was like, ah. And then I thought I was muted, so I
It was
apologize.
so good.
Oh, yeah.
maybe we'll see that snake again. Maybe we won't.
Oh, we better
We'll
not.
see how the
Yeah,
rolls
I hope
roll.
not.
Next time. I rolled
Can
for
I
that
at least be there
before.
next time?
We'll see. Yeah, maybe. Probably.
It
I
can
don't know.
swallow me, and then I'll just tear it apart from the
I know,
inside.
like, it would be so simple. I thought about this when I was, like, kind of planning a couple of different possible encounters for the jungle crew. I was like, this...
Could you not have maybe went with like a tiger or something?
There
instead
was.
of
There's
trying
tigers.
fucking-
There's tigers. Don't worry. You might find them next
We
time.
Maybe an angry monkey or something.
Yeah, don't give him any ideas.
There's nice
You know,
monkeys.
I'm
there's
just glad I'm not
there's-
dead.
There's lots
I
of
thought it was
random
very-
things
I will.
that don't attack you. There's a lot of bad things in there. One of the
No.
worst things was the Mosul.
Better be one of the worst things.
Yeah, I rolled
Yeah.
for it, and I'm glad that it showed up because I was thinking, much like you are,
Terrifying.
Pocket, that like how I feel like you would just, if you were your usual crew here, this is the first combat we've had really since you guys have split, and you know we've come into this with different characters. But like if the 4 of you had been in this encounter before, it'd be so easy to deal with. You'd
I think
literally
this is
actively
how I
sending
picture it.
Ellie inside would be
No.
useful.
This is how it'd be. It would be Ellie would be riding its head, like have a dagger stabbed into its head and just be stabbing it constantly. Aura would jump inside and then just rip
and
it
then
in half.
do the classic, or
Yeah.
it just holds the sword up and cuts the thing up from the inside. But
Yeah.
I was like thinking about it. I was like, wow, it's interesting that the others are not too well equipped to deal with some of this stuff, even though you know. It was also super preventable, but no one was able to determine that it was finding you at the beginning, which was a lot of failed rolls. There was a lot of failed
It
rolls
also-
today, including from me.
It also went after the person who lost like all of her powers.
Everything. I'm actually
sick.
so glad
Yeah.
that Bradley ended the scene where he did, because I don't think we want to see that state Suuna's in right now.
We'll see it next week.
What? No
is-
time skip?
Horror! What a terrible encounter for Suuna to
Yeah.
prove
Well,
how powerless she is. You could
Yeah.
probably just levitate that thing.
Yeah,
You know,
or rip it apart, or mind spike, or literally slow it down so that it didn't eat
Anything.
me.
Being
like
stuck
anything.
inside of it with nothing but a stick is
I-
terrible.
I did,
I mean,
yeah,
even
I
with that, she managed to.
before because when you guys were like, don't you want to jump out of the way, I'm like, I don't think Suna's first instinct would have been to do that. Her first instinct would have been to use magic, and then nothing happened.
Oh, right, yeah.
Best thing, which would have been jump. Well, good luck, woman. You're using air for the first time, and you don't have your strength, so you can't even jump as high as you could have. So yeah, it was like,
There's a lot. It's
It wasn't
interesting to
fun.
me as a GM to present
now I have
you
to.
after all this whole campaign so far. You know,
Yeah.
that's just so fucking
Awesome.
strong, and that's kind of like half the point. I love witnessing that change in shift in power, which was a lot of the point of the main course of the campaign.
I have to buy Nickelodeon green goo for next week.
That's
Cover
right.
my poop.
Get slimed.
Yeah, you got
Get
slime.
slimed.
Yeah, horrific. Well, let's do a few shout outs, and next week we will continue to see how you guys deal with a snake, and also what the other 3 are up to, hanging out with the Inquisition. One of you has an Inquisitor. Some of you are now Inquisitors, maybe.
I feel like this is fun with this guy because he's probably just like, what are they talking about?
So confusing for him. It's just the most confusing thing in the world. Imagine someone just shows up and is like, okay, we have all the answers, but it starts with us inventing a pantheon of gods, basically, that you've never heard of, and you guys know everything. It's a lot to take in.
And then there's the cycles, and then there's
all of it.
the
Yeah.
mermaids.
Right. They have a particular angle. Yeah, man, it was a large episode. to come back to. There was a bunch in there, I think. We had our first combat. It was
Oh, don't worry,
dangerous
PB.
as
I'll
hell.
make this episode easy on you.
I'm sorry, okay? You rolled for it to be the smelliest one. You could have just...
But that first roll was early on.
Yeah. You,
I loved it.
You rolled to be the smelliest one.
Yep.
Shover
and
does it with that.
Whatever it is you smell
It's
of,
the cake. It's the lemon
it
cake.
likes a lot.
It's not that good. My cake's better.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Well, apparently someone doesn't think so.
I'm loving it, and we'll see. We'll see what goes on. They'll do a quick round of shout outs, starting with Katie Peters Plays, who's finally got other people to roleplay against after a few sessions being stuck on a cart.
I got there.
Yeah, you've rejoined
No
the
one's
gang.
gonna understand 9 lives if I ever try to explain him to anybody.
Oh,
You
Ellie
already
would.
kind of did when you showed up with, and it was like, wet potatoes, anyone?
But
And you-
that's because the first thing she says is wet potatoes, and then we're all like, what? You didn't tell us about the murder. Then Ellie be like, got it.
Mhm.
yeah.
There's still time, so I will see how that goes. I'm so curious what this other gentleman's gonna tell us. I have a lot of questions. So I don't know. It's been interesting to see these 2 stories because like they're fighting a snake, and I hope Suuna is okay. And yeah,
Not at all.
I'm Katie Peters Plays. I'm on Twitch at Katie Peters Plays, Twitter at PlayKatiePlay. And it's October, so I'm doing lots of scary stuff right now. If you want to come hang out and see what things I scream at pretty much the entire month. So
I finished
me.
Until Dawn today.
did you like it?
Yeah, I did a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's fun.
yeah, because we played Man of Medan. I've only played it once, and we played it. And you were like, you have to play Until Dawn now. It's like the rules. So I finally got around to it.
Yeah.
I'm
It was
glad.
great.
It was fun to watch you play that because I know where all the jump scares are. So I'm like, oh, I hope Brad screams. And you did a couple times. So it made me
There was a
happy.
couple that got me pretty good. Yeah, there was a couple of good ones. At one point, I didn't have my headphones plugged into the right port on the Go XLR. I had it on the line in instead of the headphones thing. And so I switched it because it was really quiet. And I was like, oh, this is annoying. And I figured it out. I switched the port and then took like 3 steps. And there was like the loudest jump scare yet in the game. And it was that was the worst bit for me. And I know that's just a stupid technical reason. But yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. But yeah. KPP, there you go. Playing Little
That's
Hope
me.
tomorrow, starting tomorrow.
It's not out yet.
I know. I want it to come out now, though.
I know, me too.
What about you, PB?
Hello, hi, I'm Pumpkinberry and I played Suuna for you today. What? Why are you laughing at me? What have I done?
It's the state you're in. It's great. I don't
Oh,
know.
thanks.
Just tickles me.
My pain tickles you.
Yeah.
Should not be surprised.
No.
Anyway, I played Suuna for you today. I am playing through Silent Hill series right now. We're on Silent Hill 4 over on my channel, so you can find that at twitch.tv/pumpkinberry. But I'm also here a couple times a week. Gone, I GM our surreal thriller, and I'm here again on Saturdays for our vampire show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You should watch both of those things because they're amazing. And
Yes,
that's it
I will.
for me.
I will watch it. I will also watch the Zakoticus channel. Where can I
Hey,
find
everyone.
the Zakoticus channel?
Well, you just search Zgodicus on all the places and you can find all my things. I've been streaming Hades because I'm loving that game. I love roguelikes and stuff. And it's got wonderful art and music and witty dialogue. It's funny and it's good fun. So I've been playing that a whole bunch. I got it a week ago and I think I have like 52 hours or something in it. So
Oh
I've
my
been,
God.
So
Wow.
I've been playing like 8 hours a day apparently. So that's a whole bunch of fun. You can find me here on Table Story on Tuesdays, where I play Alexander Pippin, a Ravenclaw student at Hogwarts, with a bunch of wonderful people. And you can check out my podcast, the Zgodcast. Just check all the podcast places for Zgodcast. And I just have cool chats with cool people. And yeah, it's good.
It is
Thanks.
good. It's very good. Speaking
Brad's
of
been
cool
on it. That's why he's
people,
saying
Pretty
that.
good.
I'm on it.
Sorry,
Yeah, it's, yeah. Not cool people. Tuesday.
I'm
people find
actually
you?
super cool.
You are super
So
cool.
Not
whatever.
that
You're
cool. You
also
haven't been
not-
on my
I'm
podcast.
very
Oh,
This
cool.
well,
podcast
yeah, you're
available
not
wherever
cool.
you get your
Okay.
podcast.
Turns out
Until-
as loud as I say it is how it counts. I'm super cool, and you can find me at
I
/Tuesday
promise.
Gray on Twitch and Twitter, and you can find me on Table Story right now on Saturdays and Sundays. Tune in on Saturdays to watch us be sexy and dangerous vampires. It is spooky season, and it's super fun. It's the best thing ever. And tune in next week to catch Zcot's guaranteed insult to Suuna about why the snake did not keep her in its
Yeah.
gullet.
I've got
I'm
a
not going to
week
miss
to come
that.
up
You
with
shouldn't
all the
either.
things.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, what's the first thing he's gonna say? I'm gonna be
I
waiting
don't
with
know,
him.
but I'm going to be here for it, and you
Yeah.
guys should be too.
You're gonna be like sailing up the side of this thing, like little help, guys, and I'm just still gonna be bickering.
Yeah, oh, totally.
What about you, Disby? Giant Disby.
Hello, I'm DisBRX. I played Boba for you today. I'm too super happy that it's October, which means all the spooky games are coming out. I'm looking forward to Amnesia Rebirth, Remothered 2, and Manabadan. The second episode, Little Hope, Dark Pictures is releasing this month as well. Yeah, so I play all the spooky stuff too. Phasmophobia's been great. If you like that, come on over.
Are
hang
you
out.
going to be playing Rebirth like the day it comes out?
Yes.
Check the credits for something special.
Okay, I will
That's
look
right.
out. Yes, yes.
Pocket
Thanks for the
is
fun
in
today,
it.
everybody.
Yeah, pockets in it.
Pocket's in it.
I'm not that scary.
Yeah, I just needed to segue over somehow.
Just saying.
That was the best I could segue.
Yeah.
My name's Pocket. I stream nights now. I stream evenings. I won't be streaming today. I was going to, but I have other things to work on. But I stream evenings now. That's
You hear
it.
that? That was a fuck you. That was the streamer's version of a fuck you.
No,
Go
I
fuck
have-
yourself, Twitch chat. I can't be bothered with your
behind
shit.
on something.
But you know what? Fuck you.
You know what?
No, I could stream.
Fuck off. All right. Well, I will be
That's
tuning
not
in.
at all.
I'm
Pockets
so
channel.
sorry. I'm kidding.
Oh, I've been playing what Baldur's Gate. And I've done everything wrong so far. Like on accident, like I've shot my own people because I just clicked the wrong thing. It's been great. It's been like D&D, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gone wrong a couple times. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode, guys. There will be plenty to discuss during the week, I think, so you can head on over to the Discord channel, where I'm sure everyone will be theory crafting. There's a little bit of a lore dump in there. I think some of the people will probably be excited. I don't know if anyone picked up on all the things. I'm trying to tie up a few things while I'm still in this world and, you know, throw in some more answers out than I probably planned on doing, but I guess there we go. Tying
That
some...
punched me in the feels.
Tying... What did?
But while I'm still in this world.
Right, yeah, because it's...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still
Stop.
here. I'm still here.
I was gonna
and we're
be
still doing-
pissed if you died.
I didn't mean it like
Yeah,
that. I
she
meant
means
the last campaign. It's
Me
like
running this
Lacrin.
yeah,
Yeah.
this Lacrin world, and some of the, like, because this was not meant to be, you know, a huge ending arc, but and I don't know if it will be, but it's certainly going to be longer than I originally intended. So I've gone in and fleshed out some of the details and changed some of the stuff I originally wrote for this ending part, just to make it a little bit more, more, just to give it more. So it meant that I kind of went in and messed around with some of this stuff. So yeah, I brought up some old things and stuff, and, you know, tied in some stuff from the beginning and stuff, so that's fun. I guess you guys have to uncover all the rest and figure out where you're going to go, what you're going to do. There might be some little jumps in time between the two of you just to try and skip across some of the longer travel moments here, but I do want to see what you guys do in the meantime. So return to us next week, dear viewer, for we are not gone yet.
That's Wednesdays.
That is on Wednesdays, yes. And my brain is capsizing because I've had 2 hours sleep. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bisbee is going to go and get that potion from Alice in
Yeah.
Wonderland.
Yes.
one pill makes you
It's
larger.
small.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye. See you.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ta. Bye. Oh, wow. None of my videos work. Yay. I'm really happy. It's great. This is what happens when you take 2 weeks off. Oh, no. Now it doesn't end. And I can't tell if it's crashed. And I don't know if we're still live. And I guess that's the end.
We are.
And I don't know what's... Hey, there it goes. Bye.
Bye.